Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan. Damn it.
What happened?
I got a burp lodged.
You thought you were Tom?
No, I didn't think but I had a burp lodged right there, and I was going to go, and and I didn't want to do that.
Okay, yeah.
My wife says that I pass gas from ends, multiple ends, like with reckless abandonment. I have instilled in my daughter just a let it rip scenario at all times.
Yeah.
With burps, with farts, anything, and she's putting her foot down. No more.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be better, and that was the first step, is what you saw. There's a baby step.
You will announce that you have a fart and then fart, and it's awkward to everybody, or at least me. I feel like. Are we going around the room?
Are
we going around the room? He's like, if we're sharing.
I'm just saying
you know what you do that I don't like.
You guys are sharing. If this is the now that you've opened the door, if you're sharing, you sometimes will announce a fart. And you'll do it, and it is terrifying to me.
No, I don't care. I feel like Samantha is rude in front of her.
She's right here. You can ask her. Go ahead.
Really, it's only her. I guess that's sexist. I guess
it is a little
because
bit.
I don't care about Travis.
And the fact that bothers you, but other things that happen on the show,
right,
isn't rude or.
Yeah. I mean, you can hire Cisco the male dancer to give her the old brumski, but I can't fart in front of her.
Yeah.
Well, that was a
different time.
Unfortunate mistake at a different time when it was a fire.
And that's why I'm stopping the farts. Hey, we have a guest on the line, and I'm not really sure why he's on the line because it's all running together. I don't know if we've given out at this point so many segments
and taken them away,
and so many bits that I have very, very. It's like XM Sirius satellite radio, and what I mean by that is they change their channels. The wind blows, and then their channels change. You never know what's on, what's not on, what's running this week. Is it Bob Marley's Tough Gong Radio, or is it The Joint? You don't know. You never know. They're changing it like crazy. So on the line with us right now is a gentleman that I believe his name is Kenny. We all know Kenny. Kenny won in our big end of the year awards for Best Weird Job Wednesday theme song. Kenny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. What is going on with my video? Why am I like frozen?
You were a little frozen.
Oh, hey, there we go.
He's also one of the hosts of the Two Moves podcast. You guys want to check that out?
Look at that for this plug. Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on with my video and internet, but that's fine. You guys can still hear me, right?
Probably because you're poor.
Yeah, I'm the one who called up and said not too many people have unlimited wireless data plans. That's why terrestrial radio is still a thing.
Yeah, it is.
And
I was joking.
Speaking of terrestrial radio, Kenny, I found out that you were once a radioman yourself.
Yeah, I was. I had big dreams, like a young TC, in order to make it big on the radio. And I actually was. I did some light rock and soft rock around the great city of Orlando, and it absolutely sucked, but it was amazing at the same time.
It's unfortunate because that wasn't one of my dreams. It was, in fact, I hated every minute of it.
I am changing your name to Light Rock Kenny from now on. You are now Light Rock.
Well, we did need to come
Kenny.
up with a name for his segment because he's given us a list of stories he's going to tell us about. Today we're going to talk about one of them. But we thought his title for the segment wasn't great, and we were going to come up with one. I did, and we all forgot it, so I should have wrote it down. But we'll decide that maybe towards the end of the segment.
Because we all know it's the name that makes the bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Bird Wednesday. I mean, Bird Wednesday, just the title is all you need.
Also,
you know exactly what it is.
Radio has a weird addiction quality to it to certain individuals, not everybody.
Yeah, I'm an addict.
And it's kind of like opiates where like you're hardcore into them, then you get out, right? Because you're like, this is too much.
I'm going to die.
Normally you die in it, right?
Yeah, this is going to kill me or I'm doing very bad.
Your analogy is sad because I don't really know anybody who's gotten out. You're saying they get out. The ones that I know that have gotten out have gone to meet their maker, Tom.
And I think Kenny got out, but then here's the problem. Just like opiates, you get the surgery years later. You get a surgery. The doctor's like, "Hey, this is going to be really painful. Like you might want to here's some acetaminophen
you get
with
a taste of that sweet light rock intros one more again.
A little bit of the opiate, but the doctor's like, it's small. He doesn't understand.
And
this
next thing you know, you're like. And up next is Brandy with looking glass, Brandy. You are a fine girl. You're listening to Kenny on Magic 107.7 FM.
I feel like when we had Kenny back on the show, it was like giving him an 800,
look at how happy he looks.
800.
Yeah, look at how happy he looks.
And then
You guys are just enablers.
Can I give you?
And then he immediately emailed us. He's like, I can do a bit. Look at all these things, Snoop Dogg.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, Tom Van?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that you do right, and there's a lot of things you do wrong, but nobody can do an Oxycontin analogy like Tom Van. I got to tell you, that was probably the best analogy you've ever said on the show.
See, and now you're back in, Kenny, and you do this
Yeah,
bit
look at
strong. You're happy.
Oh,
and
look how in you're. If I pulled it out right now, you'd suck all over it. You're so into it.
But then
I have to cut that out, I think.
But then after doing this for a while and realizing it's not really going anywhere, like you're like, what does this do for me? I'm plugging my.
But the first week is good because you're high as hell.
Then you start plugging your son's Twitch channel because you got nothing else.
Oh, you leave Josh alone.
You're like,
then you start lying.
I can justify it to myself by telling my son I'm doing it for him, but you're not doing it.
Then you start doing some voiceover work for Tuttle. Oh my God! Why are you doing that? My God! It's like hitching your wagon to another wagon. Why would you? It's not going anywhere. Why would you do that? The whole point is to get an engine in front of the wagon. It's the trains on trains on trains does nothing. You need an engine.
You just laid the hitch on the floor.
Yeah, what are you doing?
You laid your hitch on the floor.
You floored your hitch.
Anyway, sorry, Kenny.
Your bit's called the hitch floor.
So you did say I'm guessing your years in radio,
I'm still thinking about how good your analogy is. It's so good.
You gathered some stories, and then you sent us a bunch of stories, and you're like, I could do a bit called Stories with Kenny, and now you did.
I don't think that was the time.
I don't know what it was.
But I
it was just to make fun of the fact that Butler has all these wacky, insane stories that no one believes. And so I'm like, hey, let me give you some stories that you probably won't believe, but they're actually true this time.
Well, hold on a second. Let me ask you something. Is that the case, Kenny? Because I feel like you're close to the show, but you're not so close that you'd like enable us or lie to us. Do people?
No, I would never lie to you guys.
Do people not believe Butler's stories? Because this is news to me.
Of course they don't. I don't even believe him. Everything he tells me.
All right.
Yeah, like he sits there and he's like, I got this going. I'm like,
sure you
listening to a crazy bum yelling from the corner. Like, whatever you're saying, bum, I'm just going to shake my head and walk past you. Don't kill me. Anyway,
a bird stole the looking glass from the movie.
So Kenny, you wrote down a bunch of options, but we picked one today. We figured we focus on because it seemed like the most ridiculous, and it was entitled, and we have no idea where this is gonna go. But it was being a giddy
being a giddy up man,
being giddy,
being a getaway driver for Snoop Dogg, and we thought, well, this has got to be interesting. Although something tells me, how can it be? How can it be? No way it could be.
Being a getaway driver for Snoop Dogg.
Anyways,
well, that's the story, guys. Thanks.
All right. So, how does this start, Kenny?
Yeah, so funny enough, this was one of the very few outside radio world stories. I worked for a production company, one of the big ones, AEG, and we did concerts all around the area. And one of them, I was a production manager for Snoop Dogg when he was in Orlando. He was appearing at the Firestone Club downtown. And it was him and his crew. And now, basically, I had to just babysit and manage him the entire night.
So, Kenny, before we go on to the story, let's explain, because I find it fascinating with production assistant, production managers, that kind of thing. Like, it sounds like it's kind of like sales associate when you work at Home Depot or Foot Locker or whatever.
I think you're just like a maid that's outside of the house.
I think it's a glorified intern or someone that you just yell at to go get coffee.
Do it all.
Yeah. So am I correct where it's just like a fancy name for essentially like a paid intern or someone like a do boy that just goes and does things that people need, random anything?
I mean, yes and no. So half of the job is that. Half of the job is, filling out their rider and just making sure their dressing room is full of alcohol or food or whatever they want. And then the other half is dealing a lot with like ticket management and buyouts and, what the venue gets, what cut the artists get, what cut I get as, the production, manager and stuff like that. So I would say 50-50. Yes, a lot of it is just a lot of driving around the city and getting a bunch of crap for them. And then the other half is actually accounting and bookwork stuff.
What kind of rider does Snoop Dogg have?
A ride or die.
Yes.
I'll be right back.
Is there anything weird, or is it just the standard?
I still think that was solid. A ride or die.
Papers.
A ride or die.
Yeah. It's like
So a lot of the stuff that is very unique to Snoop, he'll bring himself. So they have a giant tour bus, and a lot of it is with, they did it right. They have a bunch of fake marijuana plants that they bring for the set and on stage, and then mixed in the dozen or so of fake plants are a bunch of real ones. So that's how they're able to kind of like load that into the venue, and they're gonna be like, oh no, these are all just props for the stage. And this was like years ago before there was even medicinal marijuana, so it was like super illegal.
Wait, did they just pull buds off the plants and roll it up then?
Why bring real marijuana
plant.
plants? Yeah. Like, this seems because just buy already really good.
Yeah, just get a brick of weed and hide it like everybody else does.
It seems odd you're bringing your own plants.
Well, I mean, the copious amounts that him and his crew smoked, I think they need to bring their own plants and just constantly cultivate and grow it, because it was a ridiculous amount that I don't think
That sound
That sounds weird.
It sounds weird. Like, it seems to me that you would get more marijuana just buying it city to city than you would just bringing a farm with you on the.
Because also, I know a little bit about growing marijuana.
Cancel him.
To even get it to bud. Well, marijuana is it's basically legal. It's completely legal. I have marijuana on me. Right now, there are tons of marijuana in this building. And
Don't
so
say that.
it's legal.
Storm the building.
It's legal. We are legally allowed to have it.
Wait, I'm going to do what you do. I use my medical marijuana license to buy marijuana for kids.
No, that's not what I do.
You can't say that.
But
you can't do that either.
You
that's
have
bad. That's real bad.
To get the plant to bud, you have to hit it like with 12 hours of light, 12 hours of dark to trick it into thinking it's in the natural environment.
Is this just a very long-winded way of saying Kenny's a liar?
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying it's a ridiculous reason to bring marijuana plants because. First of all, I think you can only get them to bud twice a year, right? So you have to, and then you have to get it through.
You do know a lot about this,
but a specific cycle, and so you would have to carry the plants, then twice a year. Put them all in an area for 12 hours of light, 12 hours of dark to get them to bud. And that takes a while. And then you get your yield, which is a lot, but then you'll run out because the plant is not going to do it again for 6 months.
Okay.
So we invite Kenny on
either
to do a segment just to rip his facts apart.
Listen, I don't know the science behind it. I just know they brought a bunch of fake ones and a bunch of real ones.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right. He only knows what he knows.
Hey, listen, I'm not saying Kenny's a liar. I'm saying, like, apparently Snoop Dogg and his crew are morons for doing this, or doing it for no reason.
I knew Snoop wasn't as smart as Royce the 5'9".
Because then it's like you're having real marijuana plants, and you're creating a heat for no reason. Because
I agree with you. It would be an unnecessary risk.
This is when my wife yells at me, just move on. Who cares?
Yeah.
Nobody cares but you.
That's kind of what I was trying to do without yelling at you.
Nobody cares but you.
Yeah, I was trying to just enjoy a sweet Snoop Dogg story.
I can't enjoy it. I can't.
Please enjoy something.
I can't enjoy if it doesn't make any sense. Why?
Ferdinand Fax over here beat me over the head with it. I'm like,
half of what comes out of your mouth doesn't make sense.
So, Tom, to your point, sense-wise, the Orlando PD were cool about it. They knew that they had a bunch of weed on them, and they're like, we're not going to arrest them and stop it, because their focus needed to be on gang control because of his affiliation with the Crips and everything. They needed to make sure that there was no violence. So they didn't care that they were smoking and getting high and stuff, even though it was illegal at the time.
Yeah.
They just wanted to make sure that there was no violence going on. And when we're talking about this setup, they're setting up at like 9-10 in the morning. Now, obviously not Snoop, but like his entire, backline and production stuff is setting up super early. So they Orlando PD could give a crap about that. They just want to make sure that there were no guns and stuff around.
Yeah. And I've seen, listen, at UCF one time, I saw Busta Rhymes smoke a joint on stage, and it was, I mean, unless it was fake weed that smelled exactly like
I've been to plenty of concerts.
Yeah, they just let it happen.
The only weed I smoke is the fake, but I insist that it smell like accurate.
So how did you get to be Snoop Dogg's getaway driver? What is that?
So when you are in the production side, and of course I'm frozen right now, so it looks absolutely ridiculous. But when you're in the production management, sometimes you have a specific runner with you, and that runner's sole job is just to drive the artist to and from the venue and to go out and get any last minute stuff. But for this event, they didn't trust anyone. They had to actually have his security kind of vet me and make sure that I was cool to be trusted with, because God forbid, I'm a member of the gang, because you can look at me, I'm totally a very gang member-ish type of person.
Yeah.
But for people that aren't watching this on Twitch right now, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive, you could kind of pass for like a younger Snoop Dogg. I feel like.
Yeah. His
like
voice
a little
sounds,
brother.
Yeah.
Like a little brother. I mean, if you just keep your mouth shut, I feel like you could
be in his family.
Yeah.
100% a cousin.
I mean, you just add like a hat or a clipboard, and I think you can go anywhere backstage you want.
Yeah. It's
just do it confidently.
It's eerie how much you look like Snoop Dogg.
You almost look like a straight. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Has anybody?
I know that sounds racist. It's not. He looks exactly like Snoop Dogg.
No, you just have to see him. Yeah. Who also looks exactly like a Doberman dog. Right?
Or you just melding.
No, they did that before in the Colt 44 ads. They would have the dog morph into Snoop. He knows he looks like a Doberman.
Yeah, he knows.
And he does.
Yeah.
It's a cool look. I mean,
I look like pointy features.
I look like an old underbite wart chihuahua, right? He looks like a Doberman. Some guys get all the luck. Rod Stewart.
So they vet you to make sure you're not going to do something crazy, and they'll let you drive around Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, and so earlier in the day, I was driving around his crew, which, again, they're the nicest people in the world. They're absolutely awesome about that.
We know you like black people, Kenny. Jesus.
Do they scare you to, like, if you try anything, we're going to punch your face?
Jesus.
No, not at all. They get it. I mean, they tour around and they deal with white weirdos like me all the time.
It's such an old school 1950s bully thing to say. Hey, you try anything, I'm going to punch your face. Who says that?
Well, you know what I mean.
That's what a cartoon bulldog says to a cartoon cat. Smoking a cigar.
I just wondered if did any intimidation just to scare you.
Like a Suge Knight. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, hang you upside down.
No, all right. Yeah, give me the vanilla.
No, it was mostly just being stern. Like, their security people knew. They're like, hey, no, I know this is ACT. It's like, no effing around. Like, just make sure that, you have the keys in the van. You're standing by. You're backstage. You have a clear path. Like, don't let anyone go between the backstage door.
Is what they say.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to actually meet Snoop. I picked him up at the hotel, and we were driving there. And as we're driving there, he's just kind of quiet in the back.
You look just like me.
His security guard is just like yammering on about all the instructions I need to do about how you have to make sure that the AC is at this temperature and that the doors open this wide and that you're able to, have a clear path out and all that stuff. So as he's doing that, Snoop chimes in, and I'll censor myself, but he goes, hey, I'll lay it real clear. If S goes down, you better squeal them tires for me.
All right.
All right. And you're like, excuse me.
What is that?
I don't understand.
Yes, sir, Mr.
What does that mean? Does that mean bend over and part my butt cheeks? I'm squealing my tires, Mr. Dog. Sir, I'll be in your bedroom if you need me. Tires squeal.
But no, thankfully there was no crazy violence, but I mean, there was a fight that broke out in the crowd. So as I did have to be in the car and then have his security almost, like a movie, just yell, go, 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 and just like stand there. Snoop ran into the back. They slammed this is one of those crappy 12-passenger vans. So they had to like slam the side of the doors, and
what do they yell at you? They're like, step on a moon pie.
Where are you supposed to go? Just get out of the scenario. Were they worried about gangs? Like, because like you said, gang affiliation?
Yeah,
like it was
he has
real
a tie to the Crips, right?
Yeah, no, they legit were worried about gangs. I mean, I know it's Orlando, Florida, but in every city they go to, they always have to make sure that no one wants to take a shot at them.
Well, we have gangs here.
Yeah.
We got the East Side Dole Whips. We got the pineapple fluffies.
Did they actually give you like, hey, drive out of town, or like drive to the closest somewhere?
Drive to SeaWorld. I've never been to SeaWorld.
They wanted to just get out of the downtown area. So his hotel was at the Crown Plaza, just on the other side of I-4. So that's technically out of downtown. They're like, hey, don't go straight to the hotel. Like, just drive around for a couple of minutes, and then, we'll let you know when it's okay to drive back to the hotel. Because I guess they have people at the hotel as well, kind of scoping it out to make sure no one's there waiting for them.
All right.
Oh my God.
Listen,
that's cool.
I liked your story, Kenny. It's good to the point.
I like that Tom's idea of having fun is like when you get done with something, he's like, I enjoyed that. It was good. Like, what are you doing, man?
What am I supposed to say?
Seriously.
I don't know how to end it.
I'm not trying to pick you apart, but you got some issues going on with fun, man. You got some fun issues.
No, I don't know. It's fine.
I'm
having fun. I'm having fun.
Does he yell that at Tommy and Max like after they play Monster?
We're going to talk about that Friday, Kenny. We're going to talk about that Friday. Friday was Fun Friday. This Friday, I'm declaring it.
Yes.
Fun Friday. Nothing. In fact, I'm bringing in donuts. I'm bringing in coffee. I'm ordering pizza. We're going to have strippers.
What?
Kenny, how'd they fire you from radio? I know they did
Tom's
it.
Fun Friday.
That's what I find fun.
Tom, I pulled a Tom and actually quit. So I realized that it's a dead end, nowhere.
Oh, you told everybody you were independently wealthy and lied to them?
I said I was. They said I was going to be a bugman, and I was like, I'll prove you wrong. I'll drive around Snoop Dogg.
All right, Kenny. Do you have anything to plug? Do you want to play where you got a podcast? What's that about?
Oh my God.
I can tell Tom really cares. I do
Hold
have a
on.
podcast.
How much do you want me to care? What do you want me to do?
I'm kind of with Tom on that one. Like, I don't care about your show either. I mean, like,
I'm saying plug your podcast. I'm like, listen, I could have just, I can't hang up, but I could have just made the motion to Daniel, like, hang up on this guy.
do the thing. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I wanted to do it. I pushed
What's this mean?
an invisible
What's going
button.
down?
I don't know what this means. Does this mean poke an upside down clown's BH?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I do have a podcast like everyone else in this damn city. The Two Moves podcast. If you just go on Facebook, Two Moves, TOOMOOFS. Me and my buddy basically yammer on about nothing, and we try to be Tom and Dan, but we can never be Tom and Dan.
You could do it.
Yeah, I think if you try.
Look at what I'm doing. I mean,
just email me later. I'll show you how to do it.
I mean, just look at it.
It's okay. I'm going to teach you how to do it right now. You put your left foot out. You put your left foot in. Left foot out. Shake it all about.
Yeah. It's like being Bam Margera's dad.
It's like being Bam Margera.
It's like
too soon. Too soon.
Quit begging for money. It's sad. Anyway. All right, Kenny. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
All right, love you guys.
All right, love you too. Bye-bye. Okay.
We're going to go bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. Let's get to your voicemail messages. I got a buttload of these, man. A lot of voicemail messages came in over the weekend. We get a lot of messages when people are partying and drinking on the weekends. We get a lot of messages from people that are in, like, boats. Out and about, they'll think of something and then they'll just have to call in. So here is, I'm just going to go through some ACT voicemails. Get our app if you want to leave a voicemail message like this one.
What's going on, dudes? It's Big Rick. Yo, I'm listening to you guys talk about lightning on the ACT show, and I can think back to the 2019 BDM barbecue where everyone was hanging out, having a good time. It was mid-afternoon, maybe even late afternoon. And one of those Florida storms comes through. You can time it on your watch every single day. 4 o'clock, boom, there it is, right? So storm passes by, and as it's passing through, lightning struck a palm tree that was next to the pavilion that we were all hanging out in, and actually blew off parts of the fence that was surrounding the dumpster that we were throwing everything away in.
There you go.
Blew the dumpster.
It blew the dumpster up. There you go. That's all you need to know, and that's what Dr.
Man.
Phillips knew. They were like, yeah. Sorry, you wouldn't have heard that.
It blew up the dumpster. We were all standing around.
It's a good party when your dumpster's on fire. Oh, dumpster fire. Oh.
It was a sign from God.
Hold on a second. I think somebody's trying to tell us something. It's almost like there is a God. And he wanted our dumpster on fire.
Hold on. So God set the dumpster on fire. What does that mean?
Should we keep
Is
doing
he
this?
telling you something?
Should we keep doing this? Let's take a vote. What? I'll storm it. Where's my awards? Okay.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Trav. Listening to the most recent mediocre time. Yeah, you're talking about drugs coming through TSA and stuff. My dad was the assistant.
Do we ever talk about or do anything good for people?
No.
I just wondered.
My dad was the assistant director of federal security.
His dad was.
At one of the big airports, and I got to try to carry a gun and a bomb through security not too long ago. And I talked to him about the drugs and stuff. And TSA does not look for drugs. That is not their job. They have no desire to look for drugs.
There, you heard it from us.
Hey, Tom.
Go crazy.
Oh, they're coming for us.
Oh, wait, is that outside?
Yes.
Oh my God, it is outside. Yeah, so he's.
I mean, they have no power of arrest, so that's why there's always like a cop standing around. So if there's anything sketchy going on, they have a cop come around. But I was most recently in the Dallas airport on a connection flight, and the goddamn drug dog was walking around sniffing everybody's bags at the gate. So I was flying back from California to Florida, and thankfully I didn't bring anything with me, but had I, this damn drug dog would have walked right up to me and sniffed it. And Texas, as we know, loves to fuck everybody over for bullshit. Like, I mean, you can go.
Okay, we'll stop there. But yeah.
Now, were you sure it was a drug dog? Because sometimes they use the bomb dogs, but they don't advertise
they should,
that
though.
it's a bomb.
They should hang a sign
because
on the dog that says Bob Dog, Drug Dog, or D or B. But D or B. That's easy.
I think they
shave it into his fur.
They think they get the added benefit of, by having the dog there, everybody that is smuggling drugs freaks out and throws them in the garbage because they see the dog, even though the dog is trained to only sniff for bombs.
I know the answer to this question, but I want you to answer it. If I set two dogs on that couch, our couch, can you tell the difference between the drug dog and the bomb dog?
No.
I think you can.
No, I think
give you 2 weeks. I think you can figure it out. There's got to be a way to tell, right? I would imagine that the drug dog's nose is a little more used because there's more drugs than bombs. There you go. You got to look for the most used nose, the roughest, most hardy, aged dog nose.
I think bomb dogs.
Can we throw a cadaver dog in there too?
Yeah.
Right.
I think bomb dogs get more work. The drug dogs, because I think they've deemed it like a waste of our taxpayer dollar. That who cares if people are bringing small amounts?
Can
of
they do it
drugs
all?
Around, you know? Like
and
the
you
big
just tell the dog what to do. Can you be like, yo, now you're on bombs?
Right.
They
specific training.
Yeah, they're trained for just like the bomb dog will not sniff out drugs. It'll only sniff out the bomb.
You know my favorite though?
Ingredient.
I saw it over the weekend. My favorite, and they got this, and Maisie saw it, and it blew her mind. Corona dog.
Wait,
I heard about that.
Corona?
Dude, they got Corona dogs. This is legitimate CBS.
How accurate are they?
They say about as accurate as your husband's rapid test.
No,
that was a joke. No, but they say it's very accurate. I think they said up to 90% accurate that this dog can sniff your Corona.
Yeah, I mean they
That's
do
nuts.
there's dogs that sniff
diabetes,
cancer,
yeah,
there's skin cancer and the
seizures,
seizure like that. I think that's something with.
But dogs are the real heroes.
They are awesome. I love dogs, but bomb dogs think they're cooler than Corona dogs, right?
For sure.
Like bomb dogs think Corona dogs are gay. That's just
yeah. Well, bomb dogs like, listen, I'm actually like, if I find one, it could save a lot of people.
Yeah, you find Corona dog though is there. Drug dog, what are you doing? You're finding my weed. You're the
ruining
worst.
people's good time.
Yeah, I'm with
Drug
you. Bomb
dog.
dog, Corona dog, they're heroes. Drug dog, you're nothing.
Then the diabetes dog.
That's cool too. I like the diabetes dog. That's really useful.
It's like they got the little finger prick test way easier. This big ass German Shepherd is too doo-doo everywhere. Like, it's a pain. They just take the little finger tester.
I mean, you can carry it in your fanny pack.
Yeah.
You can't carry your German Shepherd in your fanny pack.
I think now they have ones that work in some conjunction with your cell phone in some way. There's like a attachment.
Just
that you
text
plug in
me
the
if
bottom
I'm
of
getting
something.
tired. I'm getting so. I got a
must be the
text. I'm supposed to eat one gummy bear to bring myself back to life. I don't understand diabetes, nor do I have the time to read about it to understand it. I just know it's something with the sugars. And if you sometimes you gotta even it out.
My stepdad, Steve, real man, carpenter his whole life.
I'm glad you
biker.
said Steve because I got him mixed up.
He had diabetes, and but he had type 1, where because he was ripped, like he construction all his
Strong
life,
man.
just
real man.
Weighed probably 150. Anyway, but he had diabetes, and he played it real loose, because he was a real man, and he didn't really. He learned how to do it in the 70s and then never varied from that ever again.
There is actually a term for that. I did not make up this joke, but there's diabetes and there's I'll try-abetes. And those guys die.
And they told him, he used to tell me, he's like, yeah, my doctor, when I was 22 or something, he said I'll be dead by 35 from diabetes from this because that's what they thought.
God.
He had like an old school doctor that didn't understand.
You didn't think they could manage it?
No,
There's no managing.
They
this.
thought you would for sure die. So then he went. He said he went to be a biker in a biker gang for a while.
Because he's like, screw it.
Yeah,
that's what you do when you get diabetes. The first thing you do is you go be a biker gang.
Might as well.
So he traveled the country.
What's
and
the least? It's the least you'll be around sugar.
I don't know what biker
is biker gang. It was voted like the safest place for somebody that can't be around sugar.
He wasn't like 1%er, but he was like hanging around. He had the vest, and then he had
4.75%.
He had the Triumph. He didn't have the Harley.
He's not that close to it.
Anyway, but
what are you riding? I'm riding a Norton.
So after he lived past 35, he settled down or whatever. I think he just was doing the same damn.
That's when he married your mom?
No, he married my mom in his
sweetest thing he ever did.
It had to been late 40s or something. It was like
my age
when I was 12, and then
you're like 44. I'm 44. I can't imagine getting remarried right now.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, he was older.
Anyway, punk ass like you doing stunts and flipping off the house. I'd be so mad.
But he'd tell us all because he'd have reactions all the time, which are not as dangerous, right? I think if anybody currently would have one reaction, they'd be talked to by their doctor. They go through a protocol. It was a bad.
But it can be deadly every time.
Yeah. But
it's like an antibiotic for Tommy. It's not like something you just. I'm cool. It's cool, bro.
It was like if Tommy was fighting the fire ants in MacGyver episode, the flamethrower. It's all day, every day. So he constantly he'd never eat regularly, and his blood sugar would be crashing and skyrocketing at all times. Yeah. And then he'd go into these I remember one time my mom had to wake me up in the middle of the night, and they're like, Steve's having a reaction. And then the paramedics came, and he was in his tiny whities, and he started fighting them the paramedics. In my mom's room, there's a waterbed.
Fighting in a waterbed's the worst.
And then he was
get off my goddamn waterbed.
Everybody's
that's from waterbed. That's from super waterbedroom land. I'm gonna kill you. Stop the steam.
Everybody gets sucked into the waterbed.
He's choking them good.
He didn't know. Well, he didn't it's like you're blacked out drunk. Yeah. Where he kind of
out of it.
He got out at least
just
3 Go Gators before his top of the ceiling fan could. His jean shorts are unbuckled.
And they just had to give him some GD pure sugar to get him out of it, right? They had to rub it in his gums. And so he would tell us,
quick, put a Gators visor on him. Oh, he's calming down.
He would keep his old it's a glucose
Glenn Close.
I hate Glenn Close.
You know those tiny plastic things you squeeze off you screw off the tip of it, and you squeeze, and it's like a little plastic. sugar gel.
It's like a little container.
Yeah, little plastic one-off container. You snap the top off, and then you squeeze it in your mouth, and it's pure
glucose.
sugar.
Yeah, it's a sugar.
And then he keep it in his front pocket, and he's like, if I'm looking at you like I'm blacked out, I don't know what's going on. Get my sugar packet and squeeze it in my mouth. I'll come out of it. And there was multiple times, and then one time. This happened. I should get my sister on because they used to go to
make our family relive their tragedy.
They talk about it. They believe me. They
reminisce like it's the good old days.
Yeah. And
remember when we had to squeeze sugar in Steve's mouth?
One time, my brother Timmy and my Steve went on a ride in Croom Forest together. Right?
Oh no!
My brother on his dirt bike and Steve on my
it's
dad's.
Like sending you and Travis out to the auto parts store to get something for the studio.
350
run out of gas.
350 Honda 3-wheeler with the Honda Eagle, the red, white, and blue. Quintessential 350 kickstart 3-wheeler Honda. So and they go out on a long ride, and then all of a sudden, my brother. This is the story my brother would tell. Noticed that Steve is running into trees on his 3-wheeler, going over bump rock. And then he's like, something's wrong with him. So he gets off his dirt bike, he runs over to him, and he's just on his 3-wheeler, blacked out, having a reaction, right? Because he didn't eat lunch or whatever. Again, he's having a diabetic reaction.
You didn't eat your cheese dog?
How do you live with this every day? And
my God.
That's the van way.
Mama, he didn't eat his cheese dog's onion tots and sun-kissed. He's famous.
And then for whatever reason, he didn't have the glucose or whatever.
Put a Slim Jim in his mouth.
So my brother
pour the squeeze it in there.
Had to leave him in sit him by a tree, with his.
My God, like an old cowboy movie.
And then take his dirt bike and make his way back to the car, and then get
the next episode of Redneck Lassie. It's Redneck Lassie. He has to go back to get help,
and then he has to go back to the truck, get Steve's glucose. And then find it. I don't know how, because my brother didn't have the best sense of direction.
Yeah, he's a pretty capable guy, man.
He knew Croom Forest, but if anybody has ever been out there, it's hard to find the exact. If you leave someone in the middle and they try to find their way back.
Tim had a spark though. He had the van luck like you.
It's either find him or he dies, because if you don't find him, he's out there all night. He dies. Literally, he dies of a diabetic reaction. Anyway, he found him and they squeezed it in his mouth and got on his 3-wheeler. And I think they kept writing.
Of course they did.
They didn't go back. He didn't check his blood pressure.
You good? Yeah. Orange whip, 2 orange whips.
He squeezed his mouth. He got out of it, got on his 3-wheeler, smoked Marlboro Red, kept on riding.
You just need a little air in your face. You're fine.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. The fish are here. And this is really cool, man. Let's not waste any time.
It's good to talk to this gentleman. We haven't seen him in a while.
Well, there's been some happenings in the world.
Happened?
Yeah,
I know. What happened?
Something happened. And then... So he's going to be at the Improv. If you want to get tickets, theimprovorlando.com. Get them while they last.
Yeah, it's going to sell, and it's going to sell fast. They do it right. They do it safe. It's theimprovorlando.com.
With us today, comedian Brad Williams. What's going on, Brad?
Hey guys, haven't seen you in a while. Like you said, you alluded to something that happened in the world. Did that something that happened ever come to Florida, or were you guys just good?
No, we're good.
We're fine.
We just ignore it.
Yeah.
We're good. And the fact that I believe I'm O positive, so I can't get it, is what I was told.
Same,
so we're good to go.
We did not know that camo hats are actually the antidote to
they
COVID.
Put one on while you're here. You'll be fine.
That's amazing. I've just been telling, because I'm out here in Los Angeles, and I'm gonna be at the Orlando Improv, like you said, doing live stand-up comedy in front of live audiences. And I don't know if you guys know this, but doing that here in Los Angeles is illegal.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm going out there like a rebel that I am, just breaking the law. Yeah. And I have very concerned people out here for my health and safety, and they keep saying, "Don't go, Brad, don't go, you're gonna get it." Finally I just tell them, you know what, midgets can't get it.
I do follow you on social media, Brad. And did you have COVID?
Someone in my house did. I'd rather not say who.
Yeah.
But someone in my house did. I never tested positive. I never had symptoms, so maybe I'm just one of those lucky ones. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I just can't get it. I don't know.
You know what?
That
it's
happened
as good
to
as
a
anything
producer.
else anybody got.
Happened to me.
It happened to Sam. Her
husband got had
her
it.
He was
husband got
hospitalized for it.
Yeah, and then she never got it. Anyway, it's so it's
and they do stuff with each other's bottom parts.
Yeah.
and not Brad, tell me if you agree with this. I didn't realize, and I know like some people have mentioned it before, people that lived in Florida and moved out to California. In fact, I remember when we had Bert Kreischer in here, he was laughing with us saying, because he's from Tampa or whatever, and when he went out and since living in California, he says when his Florida friends come to California, it's like, and we've heard this before, like his most liberal Florida friends are considered right wing in California. It's like there's just the differences in the states are vast, and it's something that from living in Florida all my life I never noticed. Like, of course I visited in California, but I guess when you live there, completely different thing.
So here's my story that kind of summarizes that point. I grew up in Orange County, California, which is like West Palm Beach light.
Sure.
Okay. So I always considered myself a conservative from California. My roommate in college is a liberal from Texas. We've never disagreed on anything. We're pretty much simpatico. So a conservative in California is pretty much down the middle, as is a liberal in Texas. Let's just say that.
Yeah. You just don't, you just live in your own bubble and you're just like, everything's like this. And you're like, oh, no, it's not.
And that's one of the reasons why I like coming and I like traveling to places, because you get to see all these different ways of living. You get to talk to people and have all these different philosophies. So I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in terms of, I'm not just in my LA bubble, and I don't just, so everyone rubs quinoa on their nipples before they go to bed. No, that's just me.
Yeah. Now, Brad, I got to ask you, and this is insane because this is 2 years ago, which it
doesn't make sense in my brain because
because time has simultaneously been super still and incredibly fast at the same time. It's hard to describe it. It's like it seems like COVID and the COVID time is like. It's crazy that I'm looking back at something that happened 2 years ago, and I'm like, man, that seems like 6 months ago.
It does, yeah.
Anyway, but Brad, I'm talking, and I apologize if you're tired of talking about this, and you're like, God damn, why'd you bring it up? But anyway, so you tried to help a kid that was being bullied, and you tried to raise money for him, and then
you're
it
not
blew
allowed
up.
to do good things anymore.
And you
Everybody knows that this guy's an idiot.
And why I'm bringing it up is this is right before COVID, because
we had it locked and loaded because we knew you were going to be in the studio because we love having you in.
In fact, you would have been here.
We flagged the story to talk to you, and then the world shut down after you tried to do something nice.
Yeah, and so can we talk about what, because I think people need to be even because it was 2 years ago, people forgot, but I think COVID washed it over, and then completely no one ever looked at it again because COVID happened. So can you tell us what happened?
Sure. For those of you who may remember this story, remember when there were other stories in the news? Okay. So there and just so you don't feel so old, it was a year ago.
My God, dude, are you serious?
Yeah, it was right before everything locked down. So I'm at home and I see this news story. I see this viral video of a dwarf child who is living in Australia.
Quaden, right?
I want to use the proper term here. I'm probably going to mess up. It's because it's like their version of Native American. I want to say Native people or yes. I don't know the right term.
Aborigine? Is that
no,
wrong?
that's actually...
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. This guy said the A word.
Cancelled.
Here's
you
the thing.
Can never work again. You can't feed your family.
Brad,
Cancelled.
You can't say the A word unless you're an A word.
We're a Florida show. We actually got more listeners.
Wow.
It works the opposite.
You're going to love it.
2 extra downloads because I said the A word. Oh, sorry.
So this video gets posted of this kid by his mother. He's crying. He talks about how he's relentlessly bullied every day for his dwarfism and his race. And he says things like, I just want to kill myself.
Yeah.
And if you're a parent, if you're a human being, if you have a heart and you see this video, you're just like, holy crap, it's heartbreaking. And it just got me in a way that, I mean, it broke everyone's heart who watched it. But for me, as a fellow little person, yeah, I've been bullied too. I've gone through some stuff. So it struck with me a little more. So I thought, you know what? I want to do something for this kid. I don't know what I can do. I'm out in Los Angeles. So what can I do for this kid? Okay, GoFundMe. Let's do it. What can I do, though, to make him feel loved and to make him feel appreciated? Well, I grew up going to Disneyland. I worked at Disneyland. You guys in Orlando, you kind of understand that.
That's our thing.
Yeah, so I go, why don't I send this kid to Disneyland? So I put up a GoFundMe saying, I'm going to raise some money, maybe like $10,000, fly him out, give him a hotel, go to Disneyland, have a great experience. That's my thought.
Yes.
I say go live, I tweet it out, I go to bed.
Yeah.
When I wake up, the thing has gone viral, to say the least, and like over $200,000 raised, and then $300,000 raised, and $350,000 raised, and $400,000 raised. You have celebrities like Hugh Jackman talking about it. You have every news station out there. My phone is literally like nonstop going off, and then we ended up raising $450,000. No, I'm sorry, $480-something thousand.
Wow.
So and now but because no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
Then and conspiracy theorists are abroad.
Yeah.
People start looking into this kid and they go like, oh, he's not really a kid. He's really a 42-year-old worker in the mines. And some YouTuber in South America released some video that said that the kid and I were conspiring together as dwarves to raise a bunch of money and screw people over, and like we're both gonna go retire on an island in Aruba or something like that.
Did you see
like,
the one where they said he was like a hip hop artist?
Yeah.
And they had him in a like a Gucci jumpsuit, which by the way was badass. I'd have worn it, and I'm looking and they're like, he's a rapper and he's lying to you. I'm like, where are we? What is happening right now?
By the way, how many times have you guys been walking around Orlando or Miami or pretty much anywhere in Florida, and you see someone with a really nice car and they've parked it out front of a restaurant or something, and people are just taking selfies in front of the cars like it's their car. So it's like, oh, so if you do that, you can never have anything nice for you done ever? Like, so you took a selfie with a car?
The amount of hate and internet detective work that was like seemingly unfolding seemed unnecessary and strange, right?
And also, people love to take a good story of like, hey, Brad Williams, used his platform to raise a bunch of money for this person, and then people hear that and they're like, how can I ruin that? How can I, how can I put out this conspiracy theory that maybe now it's like, if your conspiracy theory goes around the world, you won. If you won nothing, but you won something,
it's
the
worst
great
contest.
And Brad,
sure. I ruined some kid's life. I made fun of a kid who was being bullied to the point of tears. Worse, but I got some clicks, so life is good.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing is and. Also, just for everyone who might be listening, who might be thinking, "Oh no, it all that is real." Let me tell you, once you do GoFundMe and you reach a certain level, GoFundMe has lawyers. They have people. They have people that got in contact with me to make sure this was all legit.
Right.
To make sure all the money didn't go up my nose. I did several FaceTime calls with the boy. I talked to him. They have background checkers, so like they did an extensive deep dive to make sure that we were good. Then the family of the child came out and said, "Hey, we're good. We don't want money. We just want other people to be helped. So we just want to give money to charity. So then we divided up the money and gave it to I think 6. The GoFundMe is still up if you want to see exactly what charities, and we put out a statement and all that. But yeah, we gave almost $500,000 to anti-bullying, anti-racism charities all around the world. Now, mainly in Australia and the United States. And then COVID happened, and people were like, "Why didn't you give it to a food bank?" It's like, because we didn't know what the coronavirus was.
Why? Look at the Brad. Does it make you cynical at some point?
Why didn't you give it to a food bank? Is the greatest and worst thing I've ever heard.
Because Brad, listen, we've talked to you a bunch of times, and you're a super smart dude. And
but every time he comes in here, I feel like things get a little bit worse, and he just man.
And I can imagine you saying to you, because this is a lot of work. And obviously, the organization of it, the fact that you are now spearheading it. So a lot of people want to talk to you. A lot of people want to like.
Wasn't there like a video of you and Hugh Jackman?
Well, Hugh Jackman was talking about.
I was like, is that? I remember, like, Brad, seriously, like, because we've talked to you, we've had drinks with you, we've seen, like, that kind of a thing.
Ribs with this dude.
We've ate ribs with this dude. It was weird to see you it's you and Hugh Jackman talking about this kid, and I'm like watching it on NBC, the late night news, and they're talking about it, but of course they're just crapping on this poor kid.
Yeah, and because at a certain point you're like, well, why am I doing anything good at this point? Because
you got comedy to do, you got your own family to worry about. My God!
All while this is happening, I have at that time I had a 1-month-old.
Oh, geez.
My first daughter was born. So it's like,
I have a daughter.
All that was going on. I had my wife going like, "Hey, need some help here," and I'm like, "Lester Holt's on line 2. What do you want me to do?"
So let's talk about that, Brad. So because the last time we had you in studio, I think it was the last time before you got married, maybe.
Yeah, it was. He was planning it, and he was talking about how the bachelor party, the last we got, was going to be completely crazy. Of course, you don't think about bachelor parties anymore. Happily married with child.
Yeah, and so now, how's your life changed now with your daughter? I know.
Do you want me to sing every song from Frozen? Do you want me to do every Elmo impression? Do you want I can tell you how the writing on Elmo's late night talk show is actually kind of good. I can tell you. I can show you 5 ways how to change a diaper. Awesome. I know all about blood tests and sleep tests and everything like that. It's changed. It's changed immensely. My daughter is now a year old.
Congrats, man.
And just in case you guys are wondering, because people have this question when they find out that I have a kid. They see my wife, who is not a dwarf, just so you know. She's tall. That's how you know I'm really funny. Brad, you're a comedian. Are you good? This is who I have sex with. Okay, but yes, people want to know if my daughter is a little person, and she is. She is a dwarf. And my wife is Chinese, so we have an Asian dwarf baby, which is just the cutest thing in the world.
I bet.
Like Baby Yoda, go fuck yourself. Okay, you've got nothing. You've got nothing on the Asian dwarf baby.
You guys are here first. Yeah. That's made up. This is real.
I'm sorry. What's that?
No, I said that's made up. You guys are real.
Yeah, exactly. I thought you said the Asian dwarf baby was something made up. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like something that from a fairy tale that you would and then you must find the blood of the Asian dwarf baby. But no, it's very real, and now I'm a full-fledged dad, and I'm working on the dad bod.
I bet that was COVID kind of a cool thing in the fact that you were able to maybe spend time, right?
Someone please isolate that audio of him just.
No,
was COVID a cool thing?
Yeah, we're in Florida. 3 more downloads.
It's different here. We really do have more of a vacation look at it. But you got
it's like the flu. You lost a lot of weight. Well, that's a good thing.
I think Daniel's saying, as far as like COVID happened, you're a stand-up comedian. Every stand-up comedian we know had
to be with your daughter.
Had to basically lock down for X amount of time, and the best time to lock down is when you have a newborn, a new baby, because now you're you have nothing else to do, so that's got to be something if you're looking at the silver lining.
Yes, if I had, like, obviously, you never want a pandemic to happen. If I had to pick any time in my life for it to happen, the time it happened, I mean, yes, I got to be home. I got to be a dad. I'm not the dad that's like looking at his wife like, all right, kid's healthy, you're healthy, deuces, I'm gonna go make money. Like I wasn't that. I had to be home, and yeah, I'm shocked when I find out, because I change diapers, I feed her, I put her down, I do like a bunch of stuff, and I talk to my friends who are like, oh wow, you change diapers? I'm like, yeah, you don't.
It's a thing.
I'm finding out that there's other guys that just don't do anything, and I'm shocked by that.
Yes, I am too shocked. Now that's an older school mentality. Like my grandfather, my pop-up told me he never changed a diaper. He had 3 kids and never changed one diaper.
Yeah, I didn't get that. My dad didn't get that, but I think his dad did.
Yeah, but then I feel like there's the richer element too, where then you get the nanny, the night nurse, because there is
the au pair.
I am jealous of the if you have the money to do nanny and night nurse, so you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, that's the sweet spot. And listen, I know, Brad, you've done well for yourself. Did you spend a little extra getting the night nurse? I've dreamed of that.
We had a night nurse 2 nights a week. So those 2 nights a week were like, oh my, like we would salivate thinking about the night nurse. Yeah, and so I'm not making night nurse 7 nights a week money. I'm making night nurse 2 nights a week money.
Yeah. You're also not an idiot, so you're not going to go. You are also capable. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're already doing some diaper change and save the money. You know, because you might want a yacht.
Yeah, but then COVID happened, and we didn't know what was what. So pretty much everyone except for my mother-in-law was banned from the house. So it was just. Yeah, it was just me, my wife, and my mother-in-law raising the kid with no other help, and so yeah, that was a time, and was it rough? Of course it was, but at the same time, no one came in and was telling us all the stuff we were doing wrong. You know, like, oh well, when do you start the baby yoga? Shut up. Oh, you're feeding her gluten? Don't you know that makes her gassy? She's a baby. She's shitting every 2 seconds. Like, who cares?
Yeah. It's good I never thought about that. You didn't get the annoying moms to pop over and tell your mom what she's doing wrong.
Yeah, none of that. It was great. I mean, I like, in terms of, we just got to be parents and figure it out, and my wife is really intelligent, great with kids, so she wasn't doing anything insane. She read all the books. She knows what she's doing. I listened to her because I'm very intelligent. It was a crazy thing, but now I feel like I'm very involved, and I didn't miss moments. Like, I was there for her first words, which were dada. Yeah. Did it. She tries to pronounce. She tries to say mom, but she has trouble with M's, so her M's come out like B's. So she calls my wife Bob.
That's fantastic. Oh man, that's good.
It's hilarious because we know when she wakes up in the morning, we go in, she looks, she sees us, she smiles, she goes, Dada, Bob. and now I get to tell everyone that I'm raising a daughter with my partner Bob.
Awesome. That works.
One last question. When everything shut down for a while, of course, you with the newborn and stuff, you were busy. Did you pivot into any other projects? Because a lot of people we've talked to, they're like, oh, I then had time to write this book or work on this documentary that I've been working on. Like, did you have anything that, like, the downtime forced you to look into?
First of all, what downtime do you have with a newborn?
Correct. I figured.
But I'll tell you one thing that I got into, which is fine if your listeners want to help me out because I'm still doing it. Cameo. Holy crap! Cameo saved my year. I'm gonna say, when everything shut down, for those of you who don't know, Cameo is an app where if you've always thought to yourself, how could I get AC Slater to wish a friend of mine happy birthday? Kevin
from The Office.
Yeah, how can I get the backup point guard from the Orlando Magic in 1994 to say, hey, congrats on the bar mitzvah? How could I do that? Well, Cameo. Yeah. Every celebrity you could think of is on there, including me, and I'm cheap as hell. And because I'm seeing some of these that it's like, oh, for $500, Floyd Mayweather will text you once.
Right?
Yeah, some of them are
crazy.
When that first rolled out, Brad, we got Chum Lee from Pawn Stars.
Don't talk about it.
We did, and then he had some sort of a run-in with underage women and a safe filled with drugs and guns. And
well, dude. I forgot the actor's name, but Kevin from The Office made $1 million. They advertised it on Cameo.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, you said you made your year. Did you do come on,
I wasn't doing $1 million. I wasn't doing $1 million. That's for damn sure. I did not get the six figures, but I did okay. I did okay in that I'm not buying a gold-plated Lamborghini anytime soon, But we kept the lights on and we kept my daughter fed. So
awesome.
For all the people that reached out because they wanted a dwarf to wish them happy birthday because they think that's good luck or they think they get a wish if that happens. Sure. Maybe the best one that I did was a friend telling a girl telling her other girlfriend, hey, you got to do something about your vajayjay because it's stanky.
Okay,
that's good.
It's most of them.
If you're going to deliver bad news, why not an adorable little person to do it? So, yes.
Throw money at it.
My response time is on average 2 days. So we're fine.
Awesome. I love it.
Well, Brad, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Again, you'll be at the Improv 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday. Is that correct?
Yep.
That is correct, and might I say, I'm really glad you guys kept going. Obviously with podcasts and being in Florida, you're like, we don't have any restrictions. But
we never stop, Brad. Literally, nothing ever.
Can't stop, won't stop.
It's been exactly the same here.
Yeah. We just came in every day, kept working. Yeah. It's nuts.
No, I'm thrilled. You guys are legit one of my favorite stops whenever I'm doing radio or whenever I'm doing media tours. And
thank you, man.
You guys are always fun, and your fans are awesome. Your fans are great, and it's so nice to have a show with a great fan base that supports people who you guys tell them to support. And I could not be more thankful that you guys have me on during this time. So it's unreal. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and our listeners love you, and you don't even have to worry about
catching. I think they like your baby more now, though, because they're all looking at pictures and they're talking about how you're not as good.
If you're going to my Instagram, I will not be the most popular Williams.
You're losing right now, man, because they're just all the ladies in our chat room are just baby this and the hair, and they love the baby.
Yeah, you do have a cute baby, man.
Yeah, that's a cute baby.
Born with a full head of hair.
Yeah.
My hair is all leaving. Apparently, it went and transferred right to the baby.
Yeah, that is a beautiful man. You make a good baby, Brad Williams. Holy moly!
I make a good baby. Listen, Asian dwarf baby. If we all had an Asian dwarf baby, our lives would be good.
True.
Think of all the times you get mad and all the bullshit that you get mad about. Listen, if you stare at an Asian dwarf baby, you see the face of God herself. Yeah, I say God herself. Fight me. And you just don't get mad about whatever's you're mad about. It's unbelievable. I mean, Asian dwarf baby Angelina Jolie doesn't even have one of those.
She's wanted one. She can't get them.
That's literally the tip of cute scale.
Yeah. Well, brother, take care of yourself. Enjoy your time in Orlando, and our guys will be out to see you in force. Okay.
Thank you, Tom, Dan. You guys are amazing. Love you.
Talk to you soon, man. Love you as well. Be good. That is Brad Williams live from hotel.
I think he's still in LA right now.
Yeah,
still in LA?
Yeah.
Love that guy.
He is.
He's
a
nice
good
man.
It's funny that how
beautiful baby.
social media, internet news, and all this stuff works is like you never hear the outcome as much as the controversy. And this has always happened, but I think more now than ever. It's like, so everybody, I think, was left with, oh yeah, didn't like.
No, they were left with the scam. They weren't left with the reality of the situation was that it ended up being really good for a lot of people.
Yeah, didn't Brad Williams get scammed by a person pretending to be a dwarf? No. I think that's the
you're correct.
ending thought in people's minds, and never heard like he tried to help this person. Yeah. There was this conspiracy theory. There was complete BS. The family donated the money, and they donated nearly $500,000 to a handful of great charities. It's like, that's an unbelievable story.
People don't want to hear the good stuff.
No.
They want to hear the
they put him in a Gucci suit.
Honestly, I didn't want to hear the good stuff. I wanted to hear more Gucci suit. I wanted to scam. He is a rapper.
Yeah. But it goes back to what Daniel and I have always said, which is kind of the tragedy in all this is like the tragedy is funny.
Yeah, no one laughs at people walking upstairs. They only laugh at people falling downstairs.
Yeah. Like the being a pessimist is funny. Like optimism isn't as funny. No, it's like tragedy, calamity, things going wrong is the funny part.
Unfortunate is great.
So the funny part is Brad, like the false part of it. Brad tried to help this person who was a fake dwarf, who was a rapper, who was rich already, scammed $500,000.
Yeah.
He's just buying Lamborghini. You're like, we're all laughing.
Man, I had a few extra questions, but I don't want to be disrespectful to a little person.
What do you mean?
Well, like stroller.
As far as like pushing the stroller?
Yeah, is there a special one?
I'm sure there is.
Lower handles, right? You got to think of these things.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Brad would have talked about it. I think he's pretty open about
everything. But I'm not
going
to be that guy. I'm just going to go, hey, tell me about your special stroller.
Well, if any of us are going to ask, like, remember, you
have
more of a pass. You're, saying the
but
same.
You're the dumb one. So if you say things that are really dumb, maybe they just think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I made a good point, didn't I? Yeah. Sam was like, at first,
does it come from the dumb one or the small
Sam went, that was mean, and then she went, agreed.
I know what I am. It's like what the special needs guy asks. He doesn't know
one. You just think of the wrong thing.
You just say everything you say is in the category of dumb. But maybe you're
not the dumb one. It's just inside there. There's nothing.
Yeah. You can't think correctly. Like you're
not dumb. It's just the stuff that you
your
can't do anything right.
Yeah. Your intelligence is lower. Everything you're not educated.
You're not at all dumb. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're not at all dumb. But if we gave you a test to see your intelligence level, it would be very bad.
Yeah. In the category of dumb. I don't category. Oh God.
No. It's like when your wife says. You say to your wife, you're like, you look great in that, or you're the most beautiful woman in the world to me. Don't ever say that. Don't
add the to me.
Yeah, but it sounds like I need to say that when you say it.
Also, like if my wife's like, you are. If she tries to claim that I'm like the most sexy man, I'm like, this is a blatant lie. Like, I know you're lying. You can't. If you think that, you're insane.
No, your wife
you're
says
insane.
That.
You're a mental.
Your wife says that. My wife is smart enough to at least not lie to me.
No. She said it a couple times. I'm like, don't lie. Anyway, bye.
I didn't mean to say skeet in here. You know what? And we can leave this in. I apologize.
That's fine. You could. I miss the old
skeet.
Yeah.
I do too. It was a better time when. Yeah, and skeet. It was just better.
Oh yeah. It was pre.
We don't get any of that.
Nobody was fighting on the internet.
No. Well, the internet wasn't what it is now. The internet is Only Fights now.
Yeah. Everybody was.
In fact, there's a new site called Only Fights that you can subscribe to, where it's just fighting with people.
There was, nobody was. Going crazy. The world was, just to the windows of the walls.
Yeah, it was. You know what? We should do a shirt that says Tom and Dan. You remember Windows and Walls?
That's a lie. It was probably just as bad back then.
Yeah, it was probbe worse.
Let's do the aspects were worse.
There's a thing we got to do. Let's do it.
Matt Lauer.
Oh, Canada, home of George St. Pierre. Tom's Pop called it Gay Mexico.
We got the change that.
Yeah, I think we are gonna have to change
I think
that.
enough time is now it's not appropriate.
You know
anymore.
what you just heard there?
It was funny like 4 months ago.
You know what you just heard there? You just heard me laugh at Gay Mexico and go, that's a good idea, and then go, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
All
I think
within
it's not appropriate
a
anymore.
5-second period.
Canadian Josh, are you there?
Hello, TD and Sam. How you guys doing?
We're doing
Good.
good. You can't call us TD. We got a lot of trouble.
Borderline.
A lot of trouble for
I
that.
see what you did there.
Yeah.
So is it cold up there? The Arctic blast?
Oh, buddy.
Yeah. How's
Up
your
here
blast?
in Gay Mexico, it is very cold still. Yeah, it's bad. We're still, we're still slogging our way through winter. I was actually just got back. I just had a COVID test done because I'm a rotational worker.
You
and when I
didn't
returned
tell us
back
that. Oh, God. You got to get out of here now. Now we got to get tested.
You can't get it. You're good. You're good.
Oh, okay.
Just get a COVID test done. And on my way back, I was actually, and I found a new source of inspiration before I do my bit. I listened to the latest Nerd Jock episode with
why would
EJ.
you
And
do
oh,
that?
man, that was a bad one. It was.
Yeah. He
We
said his
thought that.
timing
That
was off because
That's
he had...
lunch break, EJ.
He texted me and he said, my timing is off. I need to eat. And I was like, you absolutely don't need to eat.
Oh.
You're morbidly obese.
Yeah, you
You're
could
killing
survive
yourself.
for months.
Yeah. You should have just said, my timing was off, period.
Yeah.
Also,
It
it
was very
one of-
combative. You guys were very combative in that episode.
Yeah, we were angry
gloves
at
were
each
coming
other.
off.
We were angry at each other.
You know what?
It was the 3D bioprinting.
I'm,
Yeah.
a little known fact.
That's where
Yeah.
it went
Oh,
wrong.
you're talking about when Sam said, now I got to look up the whole goddamn. Yeah. I remember that. That was the best part of the show. She
It was.
finally hit a breaking point. We'd never pushed her so hard. Now we know our limitations. Now we can have some fun.
It just goes to show you
You're going to break me down like Brittany. You guys going to have to lock me up?
That's too sad.
the no matter what your job is, you hate it on Monday.
It's true.
You're more, and then you don't hate it. Hate's a strong word. You're just more irritated.
God, I got to go to this thing.
Because even if if your job is renting jet ski, you get to drive jet skis around the Caribbean.
It's
and
still
just
a
rent
job.
Yeah. And then,
I think I had this theory years ago.
Yeah, it's always no one's ever, and even some people used to get mad and be like, "I love my job. I love it, no matter what's my favorite thing." And I'm like, "It's got to be less than it was at the beginning."
Right.
Like everything.
I'll agree with that.
If it's not, you're an insane person. If you're no matter what you describe your job as, even if it's your most dream job. After years of doing it, it's less good.
I like everything.
It has to be.
I like everything less after once.
Of course,
Yeah. That's how it
Does that
works.
make- yeah.
So
You know what, Tom? I'll take counterpoint on that, buddy. I've been a paramedic, and like you get in, it becomes a job like everything. It's day in, day out. But once in a while, and when you get the call, the quote unquote big one, or we actually make a difference in somebody's life. Just to S on your point, once in a while, still after 19 years as a paramedic, sometimes I'll do a call and truly help somebody, and I'm like, I effing love my job. So,
well, that's because you have a
there's-
hero complex, Josh.
Oh,
That's because you take a white
I only
pea
like
in
my
your
job
pants.
when I save someone's life.
This guy takes a white pea in his pants every time he saves someone's life because he's a psychopath.
yeah. And, I'm
We're
not
ruining
saying.
Josh's
No, I love this
Josh,
job, and I think
yeah.
I like this job better than I did when we first started the company.
No, and
yeah, but once in a while, you still must get a rush. Like, it still must be some satisfaction at
Yeah,
some point. Like,
no.
man,
I think
Hey, everybody! Hey, Pluto! I don't like my job anymore.
people hear me say
stop
this
it,
and they're
boy.
like, "Look how miserable he is. This guy hates everything." And I'm not saying that. I just try
No,
to
but
be
you said
real.
that last show. What do you say then?
Well, I did say that. I'm just yes. There are tons of times I'm laughing. I'm having an awesome time. I laugh harder than ever. Like that's
When
fun.
have you laughed?
But there's
Tell
the
me
other side.
Give me
I'm
time
lying.
codes. I knew you were lying.
Yeah, every once you and I think even if you have a bad job, like there's times
What's
where you're
the
like,
worst job you can think of?
any like fast food, retail. There's real bad like cubicle and like boring insurance
Septic
office.
tank cleaner.
No, some of those jobs where you think like garbage men, people's like that. I think
Garbage
that-
man's fine, I think.
because they're physical labor,
do
which
that.
My dudes
the
are
soul
the happiest
sucking.
dudes
Earbuds
in
in?
the town.
Dude,
like my
yeah.
dudes
Worst-
are the happiest dudes
Okay,
alive.
worst job. Call center, calling
Yeah.
to get people
Yeah.
to hassle people about their
No.
like debt, like
Sales
debt
calls,
collector.
debt collector.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
worst job
because it's monotonous.
calling parents to tell them that something is horribly wrong with their child.
Sorry, Josh.
That's a terror. I think that would be voted worse.
That's pretty bad. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I was trying to win.
All right, what do we got, Josh?
All right, I got Tom. Look, I am wearing a hockey jersey, and I am wearing a hockey hat.
Hey, why does it have the stitching at the top like I don't know, Hercules' tunic?
I don't know. This is my team. This is the Boston, and this is going to tie into the topic for me today. So as you guys know, it is Black History Month, and in Canada, we do celebrate Black History Month. We do have black people in Canada, believe it or not.
Oh, my God.
Breaking news, this just in.
How many?
Just Drake, right?
Yeah. He's the guy.
Oh, my God.
How about the Super Bowl show? Did you guys maybe catch that? The halftime show?
Yes.
Yeah, and we unlike everybody else, we liked it.
Yes.
I think the
Weeknd's black. I don't know.
I think
This just in.
the consensus here, unlike everybody else in the world, was that we all said, "Yeah, it's good." We didn't find anything to get mad about.
It was like a 5. It was
Yeah,
fine.
it was a good.
I just care about the gambling. I don't care about anything else.
No, I thought the whole day was a great day, right? It's our favorite sport.
Dude, they did it
And
during
the
a
best
pandemic.
teams- and it's a guy that writes amazing songs, performing them. Yeah,
We give no slack. We're like, not good.
not good enough, Weeknd.
It's like, he pulled it off.
Oh
during a
my
COVID
God! Don't tell me he wore a mask. Yeah.
There's like 50% of the people, the population of Earth, believe that there's no way they were able to do
Not
do
enough
this.
dancing. Like, what are you talking about?
Anyway.
Okay.
So Black History Month and hockey. This is how this all ties in. So I'm going to talk about the very first black player to make it into the NHL, and he's actually one province north of me in the province of New Brunswick. Gentleman by the name of Willie Eldon O'Ree. Willie O'Ree was his name. He's born in 1935. He's a Canadian hockey player, and he was the first African Canadian player to make it into the NHL. So very, very interesting story with Willie O'Ree. His grandparents actually ended up in Canada because they got to Canada through the Underground Railroad. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Underground Railroad.
What a cool story.
Days.
Where's the movie on this guy and his parents?
I know, dude. It's somebody in Hollywood has to be writing this movie because like grandparents fled the U.S. during slavery, made it into Canada, made it to New Brunswick, and then they had like 11 children. And Willie O'Ree, who was born in Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada.
Yeah, who also apparently
does.
There is a documentary on him.
Yeah, Willie O'Ree
there
apparently
is, on
also
ESPN.
he does not age because I'm looking at the picture of him currently playing in the NHL. That apparently an old ass picture of him, like from yesterday. He looks exactly the same.
Younger now.
My God,
He looks younger now.
that guy.
he
he's
looks
a
great.
good-looking dude. That guy is fit.
Yeah, exactly. So he started in Quebec with a team by the name of the Quebec Aces, and then he was called up by the Boston Bruins. The Quebec Aces were like a farm team in the NHL, and so he was brought up to the Boston Bruins. And like I said, great story. There is a documentary on ESPN, the Willie O'Ree documentary, but this can easily be a movie. I'm sure it's probably being floated in Hollywood right now. So he played a couple seasons with the Boston Bruins. So there's lots of great in stories to his journey into the NHL.
Sure.
After he was in the NHL for like 2 games, he got hit in the right eye by a puck and blinded him. He was blind in his right eye, and like they said, he lost like 95% of his vision in his right eye and fractured his jaw from getting hit by a puck. But guess what Willio did? He knew that you're not allowed to play if you don't have vision in both eyes. So he didn't tell anybody. He just, I'm blind in one eye. I'm not going to tell anybody.
Oh man!
And he still did okay. And he still, he was a force for the Bruins, and he played a couple seasons with them. He noticed one thing he did notice when he was in the NHL was that there was like a lack of anything in terms of, oh my God, it's controversial. Oh my God, racism. Oh my God. It was really, when it did happen at the time, it was didn't really move the needle for a lot of people. I mean, he did run into racism a few times. The first time he played in Chicago, there was some racist stuff going on against him, and one guy hit him. Yeah, it's called a butt check, like this, the end of the stick, boom, hit him in the face, and he hit the guy over the head with his hockey stick. They got into a big fight. Other than that, he came in, and there wasn't a lot of fanfare about it. He wasn't like a dominant player, but the first African Canadian, I keep saying that, to make it into the NHL. So he's been inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, and because it's Black History Month this year, the Boston Bruins franchise is going to retire his jersey on the 28th in a big ceremony.
That's cool,
in Boston for Willie O'Ree. Yeah.
Let's talk about racist sports for a second, because it dawned on me, because I was like, all right,
are we making this? We did this yesterday. Your list of favorite racist sports.
Oh, man.
Oh.
I'm talking about like the first black player in a particular league, right? I mean,
Sure. We all sort of know about baseball, right?
Yeah, the baseball, basketball, football.
Are you just gonna name all the sports?
But here,
if you can integrate basketball, you can integrate baseball.
Follow my
If
logic,
you can integrate
though.
baseball, you can integrate. Yeah.
There probably is easier, like there's real hard bad ones that person had a horrible go at it because of the temperament of the fans and where you're located geographically.
Okay.
For instance, I watched a documentary about the first black NASCAR driver. And I think his name was Willie T. Ribbs. It's on
they
on
put him on.
Netflix.
Adam Carolla.
Carolla did the documentary.
Yeah, they used to have his name written on the stadium as you drive into Daytona. It was really cool.
You hear him, and he's like, yeah, they basically just openly called him the N-word to his face for like the first a large amount of time. Like, it was so bad because it's NASCAR and people were extra racist. All I'm saying is, like, with hockey, because they're from the north.
There is a spectrum of racism in certain sports, and now you want to go through and find the least racist sport and find the most racist
for
sport.
this gentleman, if it was probably an easier go at it than it was for Willie T. Ribbs in NASCAR.
Probably because of Canada, though, right?
I was going to say also Canada.
Yeah, I'm going to say more.
Because of geographic location, northern sport, but less racist.
Well, this ties in with something somebody said last week. Remember when I told you the story about Anne of Green Gables? Again, they're in like the Canada area. They see
Prince Edward Island,
they see a black guy for the first time. The way that they portray it within this particular show. Now, again, I realize that this is based off of history. It's not actual history. But the way that they approached it was less of a, hey, get out of here, you're weird. It was more of a like, oh my God, I have never seen anything like you before. Are you from a planet? You know,
because they don't know.
It was very much like a magic thing, less of a like, you're weird, I hate you thing.
Well, but that's all taught, dude. When now that you have kids, you know Daniel, and you know too.
Oh, Maisie
Josh
naturally just does her thing.
Racism is all taught. Now there is curiosity where like you don't know like why is his skin brown and mine white, you know. But once you explain that, then it just goes on. If the stigma to it, the racist part is all ingrained. People are teaching that to the kids, which is the saddest part of it all, or they're learning it from society, which is sad as well. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. What was really cool about it's kind of an anomaly. Like, he was such an anomaly because he got into the league in 1965. And he played for a couple years. Again, he wasn't like a superstar or anything, but, you know, he was hanging in the NHL, you know, as a black man in the NHL in the 60s. But there wasn't another black player in the National Hockey League for another 10 years. He got out in 65, and there wasn't another black player in the National Hockey League until Mike Marson came into the Washington Capitals in 1974. It's weird that there was that big gap, right? Like, he kind of broke the barrier. He got in, and then there's a decade almost where there wasn't another black player in the NHL.
It is weird because usually it's like the Tiger Woods effect or something. Like once there's a person that's broke into a sport, industry, whatever, that's never had anybody else of that color in there, it usually inspires young people of that color or that ethnicity to get into that sport. And therefore, but there, I guess there's the 10 years, like if you looked at this guy and he was your hero when you were 7.
It'd take you about that.
Maybe there's a gap.
That's super interesting, man. And I'm glad
it's super cool. So if anybody has, through streaming platform or whatever, can get the Boston Bruins game on tomorrow, the 18th. Yeah, tomorrow the Bruins are going to retire his jersey at the Boston Garden. So that's really cool.
That is cool. And I'm trying to do more hockey because I tell you, when I watch it, I enjoy the hell out of it. I really,
the league is really weird. It's weird this year, but I'm really enjoying it. It's 4 leagues, right? So it's based on geography. So Canadian teams are only playing Canadian teams. Northeast teams are playing So it's really 4 mini leagues, and nobody's going to see each other until the playoffs start. And
I think that's kind of cool.
It is cool because you get teams when the rivalries get going and guys who hate each other and want to beat the S out of each other all the time. Sometimes they'll play each other back to back to back. So it's like game after game, and these rivalries and the hatred.
I
and
admire
the fights. It's kind of different.
I admire the fact, and you know way more about this than I do, but it seems like, now tell me if this is just something that I'm dead wrong on. Seems almost like the NHL is a little more fluid, though, in the fact that they can change the structure of what they do with less people bucking the system. Any other sport, namely the NFL, I mean, you get one little rule changed in there and everybody's freaking out, and then they'll change it one year, then they'll change it back the next year. It's like, there should be some fluidity there, right?
Can you imagine if that happened in the NFL? That's a great question, Dan, or something to think about. Like, can you imagine if the NFL did that, where like your Northeast teams only played
They
Northeast
would never
teams?
do it. I don't think they could, right? T, what are you? You're the NFL guy, and he's the hockey guy.
Just a completely regional league, Tom, where teams don't see each other until the playoffs.
I just don't. I think the NFL's basically set the way it's going to be until we're all dead.
Well, they have some of that.
Seriously, that's how I feel.
Obviously, your division plays twice. You're playing everybody in your division twice, and then you're playing everybody in your conference more than you're playing anybody in the, but they always mix in like one game out of conference game, and then there's some teams that have never played, I believe, in the NFL, and I think this is like this in probably most leagues, where there's teams that have either never played each other or haven't.
They'll go years.
Yeah. Oh yeah, or like 10 years. Yeah. Or like maybe not never. Through all the years, they've all played each other, but it's like long periods of time.
Another thing I hate is when they're like, we made the schedule. Well, shouldn't it be? Is it completely rando? Like, who made it? And who decided? I want it to be completely rando every year.
The problem is, if you do it random, then you get horrible games on prime time.
Sorry.
Luck of the draw.
Yeah, that's because you guys are all up the business's BH, and I just want a fair and good product.
I don't want the stinky Browns playing
Cincinnati every
it'd be real bad.
Just like anyway, I believe is that it? Cool. We have to go.
Yeah, we do actually.
Sorry,
what?
Josh. I did a lot of talking at the beginning, wasted a lot of your time.
Tom lets everyone come on the show, and then he just talks all over their segment. So
we know it's the formula.
Yeah, it is.
The formula.
You said that was your
just check out my son's. Sorry, guys, just check out my son's Twitch channel, twitch.tv/littlecheese437. He's still waiting on you, Tom. You're his podcaster. He's actually starting a podcast now. He's ready to play Minecraft with you.
I thought you and Little Cheese were doing a Minecraft game.
We are gonna do it.
Cheese. What is it? Special cheese.
Special cheese and little cheese in the morning.
Little cheese and special cheese.
I'm serious. Since my sons like watching these, I got an idea.
We don't have time for this.
How come I never thought of special cheese until now?
I want to get with your son. And
then, mark that.
And then make a custom Minecraft YouTube just so my sons can watch me.
Watch you.
Yes, and
it's
then
all about Tom.
Yeah, and then so they look at because they look at these other YouTubers and they're like, we love them, and I want to love me.
Why do you call it Tom and Kids Minecraft After Dark? Call it that. That's great.
All right, Josh. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Beavers.
Beaver.
Wait, what? Am I supposed to yell Beaver?
Bye-bye, Beavers.
Okay, bye-bye, Beavers.
Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan Samantha Butler Fish.
Mm-hmm. Want to do some voicemail?
Oh, you said that all creepy.
Yeah, you did. And he looked at me with the side eye, and I was like, what is going on?
Something's wrong with you. Either not enough sleep, too much drinks, not enough weed, too much weed, not enough drinks. Something, but you turn to Sam and you go, you want to do some voicemail? Like your wife when she buys a pack of cigarettes and goes, you want to get crazy? And then she smokes one and then plunks them into the pool.
I only said it like that because then I was like, well, maybe we'll do email. But then I looked over and I don't know. I was like looking over to see if there's emails.
He was looking me up and down.
No,
it was a little bit.
I'll look at it.
It looked as if you had pulled the connector between her bra.
No, come
with
on.
your eyeballs, you had loosened it and it went.
No. Between the middle?
Yeah.
That's a front class bra?
Front class.
Are you not familiar?
I've never even seen
that. You get one of those.
See.
That'll change your life.
I'll know the back.
Oh, no. The back is that's bad. Everything in the back is bad. Everything in the front is good.
Big, thick, 4-prong.
No.
Oh, you got a 4-pronger?
No, you want a front 1-prong in the front.
That's hard to get off.
4-prong in the back. My God, you need a tractor to get that open.
How quick can you take a 4-pronger off?
Oh, me? What am I using?
No, I don't know.
Tools
One
or no
hand.
tools?
One hand.
Oh, one hand.
One hand, 4-pronger.
I don't even know if my midget hands are large enough to do that. I don't know if I can even do that. Well, I'm allowed to say that now. Brad Williams told me I could.
I haven't done that in quite a bit of time. Well, I mean,
just leave it on now.
No,
I have. Sometimes I feel bad when I leave it on. I'm like, shouldn't we take that off? Shouldn't those things move? Like, what's happening?
Just pull them out the top.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like it when we pull it out of the top.
Yeah.
And Andrea's aren't big.
It's a waterfall.
You pull hers out of the top. I was like, what are you pulling? What is that? It's like,
Come on.
You put the scarf in the plastic thumb.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam, and Trav. Listening to the most recent Mediocre Time. Yeah, you're talking about drugs coming through TSA and stuff.
Oh, yeah, we talked to that guy. Drugs on plane guy. No, sorry.
Curse crazy.
Yeah, that guy's curse crazy. Don't do that.
It's Zach from Ohio.
This is the one.
So I was speaking with my mother-in-law, who is a higher up at Fifth Third Bank, and she mentioned that she was excited for getting President's Day off of work. And I thought, never in my life will I ever have a job where I get off President's Day. And I contend that you have a cushy job or just a government job, I guess, if you get that day off.
Man, you got a wet
We
nerd
only
mouth.
had that day off this year because it happened to land on Tom's birthday, and he wanted his birthday off. He didn't even know it was President's Day.
He didn't even know it was his birthday.
Barely.
He just wanted a day off.
Not my President's Day.
It's
funny.
I love it.
Dude, there's two different inflections you could say that about, and it means two different things.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway, President's Day is a bank. At school, I remember I did my camping trip weekend always on this President's Day weekend because it was near my birthday.
Right.
And then we all had school off. So in high school, we had that Monday off, and then college and everything else was just easier. Because for the most part, you had no school.
It was fun,
on
man.
the Monday. But yeah, the government jobs where you get a bunch of those holidays. The worst job you could have is a retail. As far as getting time off.
Oh, they don't get anything off.
And
No
because
holidays, nothing.
Their busiest time are holidays.
Right.
So like
Because everybody else gets to celebrate. You're the one working the Black Friday sale.
I remember Crystal for years at Foot Locker, and I used to yell at her and get so frustrated because she'd care so much about her job, and I'd constantly be like, why do you care about this corporation?
They don't care about you.
I'm in love with Mr. Reebok.
They're literally using you for all hours that they can get out of you, squeeze out of you for nothing.
And they want to bleed you dry, and then
they're breaking you down, your spirit.
And then when you've had enough, they'll just move on.
And if you ask for one favor, one day off, nope, never prove anything, but they want you to work. Oh, it's ridiculous.
And the people,
so many broken labor laws in retail.
Yeah. And the higher ups, they're jaded because they had to do it to get to higher ups, so they don't give you any slack because they had to work every Christmas of their GD lives.
Well, they're miserable.
I had to do it. You got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that material.
Yeah, I've been part of that.
But anyway, so every Christmas she'd have to work Christmas Eve. And then we'd go down to Miami. This was, 10, 15 years ago. So we'd have to drive down to Miami at Christmas Eve. She'd get out like at 9.
And she's still dressed like a referee when you're driving to Miami. Because there's nothing worse. You show up for, it's 4 a.m. You're rolling in to, Kendall, and you're still dressed from work. I'm being serious. That just sounds so sad.
Because it was
and
before,
hard to do.
You'd pick her up from the mall.
Yeah,
go straight from the mall.
That's it. Yeah, and then we drive in the middle of the night.
Oh my God, Tom, that's terrible, dude.
Yeah, but when you're in your 20s, it doesn't matter. We get down there, we'd still hang out with people 1 in and party. And then she gets to spend Christmas. They wouldn't know work on Christmas. Then 6 in the morning, day after Christmas, she'd have to be back. So Christmas night, she would drive back to Orlando.
How miserable.
Yeah, and then I tell her, I was just call it. What are they gonna do? Like, you've been in this company for 10 years.
They'll write you up.
Yeah, who cares? And then she's like, nope, I got you do respond. I'm like, no,
I'm that person.
I used to be that person.
All for nothing. But,
I'm that person.
Did you like now when you go to Foot Locker because you were such a good employee? Do they give you discount? No. Do they care at all? Did anybody know you even worked with? They even works there anymore?
No.
All for nothing.
I'm just happy that the business culture that we've cultivated in this business right here, nobody takes advantage of it. And I'll die on that hill.
All days off. But yeah, retail's the worst. I'm trying to think of anything else like that's as bad. You know who's got a good Chick-fil-A employees?
No, you got to be polite when you don't want to be polite.
Yeah, but at least you get
Sunday
all Sundays off. Like that's
You smell like
You
diet
get
lemonade all
paid
day.
more than the typical fast food workers.
Yeah. I mean,
not a great company, but you know.
Well, yeah.
If you're in just a
I'm
regular
You know the
cashier.
job I want? I want the job of putting 3 dill pickled chips into a tiny barbecue sauce container for people that ask for extra pickles on their chicken sandwiches.
Right.
That's the job I want because they don't put the extra pickles on your sandwich. In order to speed up their line, they throw that little barbecue sauce container in there that has 3 dill pickled chips in it. It's brilliant.
Now, this may make some people mad, but I'm only referencing
hot take.
my buddy Porno Joe.
You only got 3 minutes. Wrap it up.
Sorry,
3
this will take
minutes?
3 minutes.
Welcome to 3 Minutes with Porno Joe.
I never stopped giving him S. Now, it took him a long time. He had to move out of Miami and be a firefighter in Gainesville and then the Keys for a little bit. And he had to pay his dues to finally get the job in Miami.
That's true. I remember when he was even out of work
there was
looking
like
for
4
work.
years he had to, anyway, but that job he's got now, and every time I see him, I'm like, how many days did you actually work this month? And he's like,
He's
4.
always off. Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
because he's got the Kelly days. So he's got
Here we go with the Kelly days. It's on the bingo. They're saying it in the chat.
24
All right.
on, 48 off.
Oh.
And then every other, you get the 24 paid. So you get the 248s.
Well, wait a minute. Is
It's
that
insane.
because is their assumption that? And look, I'm not taking it away from these guys.
I'm
chose
taking
that.
it away.
No, they chose that.
Listen,
they chose that. They trained for that. Look, you have perks in your business. They have perks in their business.
I'm definitely stronger and faster than you.
Okay, fine. Look,
right,
send
Kanye.
your hate mail to Tom.
I'm talking about
firefighters.
Joe.
Here's what I'm
And
saying.
Shorty.
And Freddie.
I know. I knew you were thinking of Shorty. I knew it.
We're talking
you
to him,
always, when you're always talking about firefighters, you always want to pick on Shorty. You know what? And I take offense to that because I'm short, and I've been called Shorty a lot.
He's not even short.
He's not. He's more. He should be called Pudgy. Or,
All
right?
I'm saying is that there's a lot of, and then I'm like, he was zooming with us during the pandemic, and then I'm like, you at work? He's like, oh yeah, I'm getting paid right now. Like, what? And then his buddy comes in, and he slaps him over the head. They're also like a frat house in there.
Can
And
I
I'm like,
tell
what are you doing?
I'm gonna end with this. This is a true story.
The
Do we have to
chili-
get out of here?
We got about a minute left.
Okay, we got about a minute. Okay, this is a true story, and I know this will give you a lot of smiles, Tom. Over at our Publix, the one across from our studio, remember the really tall, old, real man firefighter that came in here when they were growing all their
Oh,
hair?
yeah,
and
the
he's
St.
the
Baldrick's,
really
yeah,
tall
yeah,
one,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
was like a
Old real man,
higher,
yeah.
old real
Lieutenant.
man. Yeah, he was like a high rank. Super tall, like 6'6" or some garbage, just a giant lumbering big old firefighter. Had seen it all, put out 1,000 fires. I see him at Publix all the time, and every time I wave to him, and every time he looks me in the eyes, I know he remembers me, and he hates me, and he will not say hello, and I love it. He looks at me, oh, you gay. Like, I can just tell. He looks at me. I can just tell he looks and thinks I'm not a man. He thinks I'm like a little girl with a short haircut. I can tell.
Listen, I'm just saying that
He's a real hero, and I thank you for your service, sir, and
seems
keeping me and my family safe.
There's a lot of perks there. I know you got
Hey,
a fire.
which would
and
you
then
rather have, Perks or Percocet?
You got a Narcan, a lot of homeless people. It's a pain in the ass.
Can I get
but,
high from Narcan if I just Narcan myself with no...
No, it just does. I don't
Doesn't
think it does
do
anything. That's a good question though, but I think it only.
Will Joe get us some Narcan to try it?
Oh yeah, they give it out because that.
Aren't we supposed to have it here?
Problem.
I was told that we're supposed to have all the remedies for homeless people here in case they die in front of or they have an OD in front of our thing, and then I'm supposed to run out and stab them or something to get them living again.
No. We're good. We're not, if they, we'll send Butler
Push
out
them
there.
into the bushes, roll them into the grass.
It's like leaves. You just blow it into the street.
No, they tell you to bag those.
Once it's on the street, it's got leaves. It's not my problem.
Oh, there was a pair of painter's pants on the sidewalk. And the first thing Butler did this morning is he threw those painter's pants away.
Yeah.
First he wore them.
Yeah.
Danced.
All right, bye-bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are live on Twitch right now. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live. or all replays on the YouTubes, Tom and Dan Live. I've been trying to get all daily videos out before 3 p.m., 5 p.m. Last night was a little bit late. It was we did like a 4-hour show yesterday.
Yeah.
There's too much, but hey, you guys get the benefit.
So I was telling you guys at lunch, I watched this documentary about the villages on Netflix.
Do they go into the sex?
No.
It's more just along the lines of it being a retirement-styled community?
They follow the lives of like 4 different characters, and
it's called Some Kind of Heaven.
Some Kind of Heaven. Yeah. And the cinematography is good, and it's like I told you guys, like it reminded me in Crystal of Gummo a little bit.
Yeah.
And because of the way they do it and they present it, so it's very artsy, I guess, and less of like the straight facts.
Is this the movie she was saying on her social media was like kind of depressing?
Maybe because
she likened it to like, she's like, it was kind of depressing and that she likes depressing movies, and then she mentioned like liking, I don't know.
Depression now?
Well, Melancholia is the one. Yeah. I mean, your wife seems to like sort of like really there's no way out. You're all going to die. Right? Yeah, no, I'm serious, Sam. I'm not joking around. This is, okay, I have to like look around and tell you guys, like I am not doing a joke. Like she has told me before that she likes these types of...
She's very doom and gloom?
Very dystopian, like, end of the world.
She just likes movies. She tells me all the time, she's like, I need to watch Legends of the Fall so I could cry. I'm like, why do you want to do that?
Sometimes you got to let your emotions out when you're not a robot.
Yeah. So that
appointment grieving is a real thing, man.
Yeah. So she's like, I feel better now. I'm like, all right.
I'm sure Sam's going to get to that point too, because a lot of what Sam's talking about, I'm talking about. We got some similar stuff. I'm like, sure, I'm just a couple chapters ahead of you in the crazy book.
Just don't look at it. Yeah. That's all.
He's right.
Only Tommy understands. Like, if you see Tommy's like,
can I talk about something that our friend Summer pointed out? There is a picture of our children. Yes. On the hike. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you've seen this. I'll save it for Friday.
I don't think Tom looks at comments.
We're not going to get that far into it today, but I will say there is a picture of our kids where you see Tommy on the hike, and he is your granddad. He is sitting there, and he's staring straight ahead with an emotionless look at his face, and he is fine.
Yeah.
Everyone else, not fine. Tommy, he's good, dude.
Yeah. He just...
completely content, ready to go, sitting on the bench, just staring into space.
If he does it, he tells me all the time, if something scares him on the movie or Star Wars or something, he just stares at it. Like he's used the term, I just stare at it. And I understand.
Brave, right?
Cause no, but he's not. He's
frozen in fear.
No, he's not focusing. It's like the
look through it.
Look at it.
Yeah,
it's me. It's like he's not even comprehending. Like he turns his brain off. And then whatever's happening, he's
beyond
seeing
it. Yeah.
But you got to get him some help now before he turns into you.
It's a better way to live.
It is a better way to live.
Not for every other person around you. He's going to drive everyone insane.
That's the only problem.
But do you understand how glorious it would be to be inside his head? Because do you understand now? Think about this, Sam. Here, I'll blow your mind.
It makes me mad, though, that now I understand how other people feel. Because I'm like, you have to care. You have to care.
Well, but the balance is
like, oh, my God.
The key is the balance, right? Because that skill on its own is what I'm going to my shrink now to learn how to stare beyond the thing that scares me or the thing that, for me, it's OCD, right? So I get consumed by it. The idea is to stare past it, not get consumed by it. I need a dose of this naturally in my life. I just don't have it.
Yeah. I think it's some sort of genetic thing that, Yeah, but the problem is it goes too far. Then you get your old lady or old man yelling at you.
He's got a lot of years.
There's a lot of all your friends, everybody, all your coworkers, everybody. They're like, oh my God, I can't take it anymore. That's the problem. But luckily, hopefully, I'll be here to tell them like. It's coming.
You will.
Oh, they're doing that. That's you. Like, no one told me about me. I had to learn it from my son.
No one told you about you?
Like, no, they did, but I ignored it because I was like, what are they talking about?
Exactly. I'm like, this is he's just going to ignore you.
But now that I see my son doing it, I'm like, oh,
you got to start early.
It's so frustrating. I'm like, you have to care.
Years ago.
You have to care. They're putting rocks in George Bucks.
Oh, the rocks
You have to care. And he doesn't.
Oh, the rocks came up a lot.
It's better that he doesn't.
The rocks came up a lot on the
hike. But I'm mad about it. I'm like, you have to be mad. He's like, not mad, don't care. I'm like, no! It frustrates me.
Yes, this actually is my enjoyment now, is that Tom is so frustrated about the same thing that he does.
Yeah, wait till you find out that I've been putting the rocks in the lunchbox. You know how hard it is for me to put. I have to leave here in my lunch break to go put rocks in Tommy's lunchbox. Let's try this one because I know this one will cheer you up, buddy. This is gambling talk.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam. Not Ross anymore, but Butler. So what's up, guys? So I was I'm stationed in Japan at Yokota Air Base. I'm in the Air Force, and I went to this pachinko place, which is kind of like a casino-ish for like video games, I guess you could say. I don't know, but you can like gamble there, like you win prizes. But Japan has like a no gambling policy, and instead of like money, they give you prizes. So it's like I went there today and I won like I think 3 grams of gold. Like they just gave me gold, and you go like across the street and you give the person the gold and they give you money. So I think that's like they get around gambling like that. And I just want to, I know you guys love gambling. Well, Tom loves gambling, so do I. Goddamn alcoholic gambling fiend. So
wow.
Right. Look at us.
Calm down, buddy. I'm not anything like you,
cheating
sir.
on my wife.
I'm a racist, alcoholic, gambling, abusive.
I'm just like Tom.
Hold on.
Abusive, dog kicking, cigarette putting out on cats that are alive.
Just like my buddy Tom.
Racist, neo-Nazi, fun-loving party animal.
Don't align yourself with me.
We're just
These are your people, Tom.
We're just a couple of gambling party Nazis.
Party Nazis.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know that I've read some books about.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I listened to books.
Don't let her do that to you.
I listened to books about gambling. There's this one that was like it just went through stories about all forms of gambling, like literally from horse racing to slot machines to blackjack to.
What do they say about pachinko?
And there's
it's a slot machine, right? Glorified slot machine.
There are certain games, and apparently in like I think some sort of Asian cultures, I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese. I know, but it's some.
Oh my God! Between you and the chat room, no, I did not say dirty knees.
The ghost of you said dirty knees.
I did not say dirty knees.
Yeah, the ghost of your dad.
But somebody in the chat room called it Wang and Busters, and I laughed.
Anyway, so
it's Japanese.
They're like, I guess they're hardcore superstitious when it comes to gambling.
Correct.
And there's certain games that that it's built around like superstitions and certain and I forgot what it's not pachinko, but there's another one that is like super popular in China and stuff, and then the big whales, like super rich Chinese businessmen come over to Vegas.
God. Hold on a second.
And they play in these super high limit games.
I have a really good podcast idea for us. I have a really good. You and I could do a really good podcast. I have an idea for a podcast that nobody has right now that you and I could do, and it'd be really good.
Don't say it on air.
I don't think I want to. Normally, I would just ruin it, but this one I actually
write it down.
Okay, I'm going to write it here. Because there's one that Tony Rage likes.
And speaking of the get around to particular laws, I simultaneously
hate that. It's like when the Jewish people put the line around their neighborhood.
There we go again.
So, no, but I'm serious. The whole idea of getting gold and then going across the street to trade the gold for money, I hate that.
They do this in Washington D.C. where it's like, okay, marijuana's legal, but then you can't have stores and you can't sell it, but you could sell a toothpick with I
just feel like we're better than that.
A gram of weed, and they're like, they'll sell you this, but it comes with 5 joints. It's like, and that's legal. You're like, just give me a break. Why are we doing any of this? What are we, babies?
It's just wasting everybody's
GDP,
time.
wasting it. Yeah. Why?
It's just wasting that guy's time. Like, just give him the money. He's doing it.
There's a store. Give it gold if we have to do this.
Oh my God.
Ridiculous.
I think we got time for. Let's try this one in here. Oh my God.
Matt here from up in Canada. I just want to know which order I should listen to your shows in. Like on Monday, do I listen to the recap first, then the BDM show, then ACT?
Is this guy's plane going down?
Nuclear?
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. First of all, I have to apologize to you guys and the listeners. I normally vet these. I have been overworked with files, and I've been cutting some corners. All right, and I think it shows. And I apologize to you guys. This guy apparently died.
Bill, look down the centrifuge. He's like, "Oh, your face is sunburned."
Hey guys, I know we're just taking this Piper Cub and we're all drunk because we're partying to go to that golf outing, and I'm just gonna fly us there. And I know I've only had my pilot's license for a couple of months, but real quick, hold this stick while I call top my favorite podcast.
Hey guys, Matt here.
See how high we can go.
Yeah, here we go.
I just
Point
want
it
to
up.
know
Point it
what
up.
order I should listen to your shows in. Like on Monday, do I listen to the recap first, then the BDM show, then ACT, or, which way to go? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I listen to the ACT shows, but then Fridays, is it Friday free, then ACT, or is it ACT, then Friday free? I don't know. Just let me know. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Now, he had to have heard... Like, how did he think we were going to be able to hear him with that background noise?
A lot of times on your cheaper cell phones, sometimes your beep tones, and I know even on expensive phones like this dumb Apple iPhone I have, I know that there will be times when my wife will call me and then somebody will text me or something will happen and it'll start playing my text tone through my speaker, but she can't hear it, only I can hear it.
Huh.
So if
you know what I mean?
If you literally wanted to listen in chronological order...
Oh, good luck, buddy.
Oh.
Then record all over the place.
Then this is how you'd have to... So if you started
we're
blank...
working on that, I thought. Isn't that your idea?
Yeah. We're going to do something, make it so all shows are easy to find. Anyway... But
I should have thought of that when we started the show.
So say you wanted starting on next Monday and be like, I want to listen to exactly the way they record in real time. So now Mondays ACTs are usually recorded the week prior. So if you wanted to listen the first thing on Monday, it's usually OG first, right? Mm-hmm. Then we do BDM show, right?
Yeah.
Then after to get ahead, we usually record a Wednesday segment 3 or 4 on Monday, right? So you'd have to go. Now this would have to already be recorded if you literally just want to go back and listen to the way we recorded. So you'd have to listen to Wednesday 3 and 4. Then on Tuesday, Tuesday 1 and 2. Then strike that. Tuesday 1, then you'd have to go back and listen to Weird Job Wednesday because
He's
usually
right,
have that.
Correct. Tuesday 1 and 2, then Wednesday 1, then back to
then at 1 now it's Nerd Job.
Yeah, we moved that around.
Oh, that's right, we did move around.
Yeah. Then that should cover Tuesday, Wednesday.
The thing that makes me the happiest is that
this is why we're going insane, by the way.
Yeah.
Just listen to Twitch. That's the real time.
That's
I mean,
the
and YouTube,
closest.
most people have been cheating and jumping to our YouTube because all of our YouTube stuff is exactly in the order
that we recorded.
Yeah. So there's your secret. Tom and Dan live on YouTube, everything in order. And
besides BDM and OG, but that's in the Facebook BDM page. Sometimes there's a couple.
If you want to catch everything live, then it's BDM Facebook Live starting at usually 10:30.
Yeah.
Then we start Twitch Mondays, usually around after lunch at 1.
About 1, yeah.
And then every other day throughout the week we.
So complicated.
It is a little. I mean, we could have made it easy.
Just go to the YouTube, sir.
If you get the Twitch app, it'll tell you every time we start recording.
Yeah, if you can listen live, the best way is to listen live on Twitch.
Indeed. One more. Here we go.
Hey, I gotta call in, man. Seriously?
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry, guys. Again.
Who's this?
This is level 10 Carl.
Oh, man.
But he called
He's been
in.
going crazy
level 10
on
for a while.
on the social medias lately.
It's not going to be much longer.
Oh, no.
I think it could be long, real long.
You think so? Well, he tries to defend here.
Okay.
Hey, I gotta call in, man. Seriously? Tom, that was the most awkward talk about a cash daddy ever. If you haven't heard of a cash daddy, check it out. Go to Cash Daddies. It's a funny podcast. As well as how awkward that was. That was hilarious.
Okay.
What are they
I think
talking
he's
about?
thinking of Money Daddy
Money
that we
Daddy.
called Bernie.
Yeah.
When we talked to Bernie from KDK County.
okay.
Yeah, and I think he
I was
was
like,
also getting confused. What he was alluding to was your waterfall lifestyle
Oh, okay.
that you questioned a few ACTs ago.
Yep.
And then we were corrected by somebody. I'm not going to blow anybody's spot up here, but I will say we were corrected and informed by somebody that there is, in fact, a difference between what would be swinging and what would be polygamy.
Right.
Yeah, multiple
Yeah.
partners.
Which
if
do
they're
you
living
want?
together in.
Which would you prefer, sir?
I think I want the multiple partners to live with, because the more women taking care of me, the better.
Okay, fair enough.
But also more crowing.
That's what I was
Double the
afraid
crow,
of. But
yeah.
I think
Well, what if you don't? What if you get a non-crow? Will the non-crow rub off on? It's like when you
they'll
have,
eventually turn into.
You know,
a
like
crow.
when you have two
with
little
Tom,
dogs,
they got a crow because my God.
I think the
like two little
original,
dogs.
the OG crow will infect my new crow.
I never used to crow. I'm crowing all the time now in the office.
What do you got to do?
That's true.
What do you got to do is you got to convince the new non-crow to kill the old crow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Take over the
Normally,
nest.
teachers do this with impressionable young kids.
Yeah.
Like that. What was that lady's? The lady that had her 15-year-old boy kill her husband.
Oh man,
remember that?
Yes.
I was thinking of like not Lorena Bobbitt, but what's the?
No, don't go there. Well, I'm talking murder, not cutting a man's penis off. Tom, I'm not insane.
The ice skater. That was like the
Tanya Harding?
Yeah, Tanya Harding.
I could, you could hire somebody to break your wife's legs. If that's what you
I don't
want.
want to.
I mean, I don't know why you went down that path. That's not at all what I was saying.
I feel like that would be your worst situation for me.
Well, don't hire one of us.
Yeah.
Butler's over there with a ski mask on trying to hit your wife with a tire iron.
I feel that there's, if you get in a polygamy lifestyle, I feel maybe
they need a better name for it. Sorry guys, that's a bad name.
Everybody,
it should be called fun or awesome. It shouldn't be called polygamy. That sounds like a disease.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Because I feel like everybody involved, if they're cool with this, they're probably a easier going person, right?
I think so.
Less uptight. So you have that.
It sounds pretty good to me. I'm not that guy, but
it's like
I admire it. You know what I mean? I'm not large enough to ever be a good basketball player, but damned if I don't admire it. I love that game.
If you were looking, imagine if they had like the Village People of stereotypes, and then you got your stereotypical hippie, your like old businessman, your sports guy. Like,
are they singers?
No, just like a people of like stereotypical people.
Oh, okay. I thought we were putting
categorized
together a super group of old people here.
I'm just saying I would gravitate towards the hippie. If they're like, pick one of these people to hang out with for the day, I'm going hippie because easier going personality just based on stereotype, right?
That's a good guess.
Like this guy is probably, he don't care what's, it's like.
I'd probably go fat comic book money.
Oh, okay.
I'd hang out with him.
I think he'd get annoying though.
He would, but I can beat him up if things go crazy. I can beat him up if he
you can
turns
beat
out
up
to be
the
a
hippie.
pedophile or something.
The hippie is against any war. Put the daisy in the gun.
Hey, there are still people that live in towns that have adopted full hippie look. And I don't know how it happens because I don't see anybody that is in entertainment or in the media or any stereotypes of hippies, but they're out there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's not popular to be, what I'm describing is Birkenstocks, cargo pants, tunic, Shelley-styled necklace, chin strap beard, hair and bun. Those guys, right?
Yeah,
I see them everywhere, but you never see a famous one.
I feel like
there's got to be a famous one.
There's a lot of celebrity, like the Matthew McConaughey.
It was like a 90s style look, that look. And I swear to God, I saw a guy
Bieber
yesterday.
was kind of doing it for a little bit.
He was. You're exactly right.
And then he switched it up,
He's
though.
like, hey, I'm rich, but I look like I'm homeless.
Well, it's almost like what is that, Vesco style? Like that, almost like a half hippie, half like
hipster. Hippie hipster.
Yeah, I don't know what you even call it. It's weird.
I remember like when you used to hang out with rich people, they would tell me like the real rich stop caring about how they look or whatever, and then they start looking like the poor again, and these things like only the medium rich guys.
Yeah, but their ripped white T-shirt is like $400. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you didn't buy that from Goodwill. You spent. It's a fashion line. You got Kanye's $400 white T-shirt
now,
on.
Up to to this person, he was saying that that person, like sometimes the not mega rich want to emulate the mega rich and buy the $400, but the real mega rich.
They buy the cheapest stuff.
And I met this guy.
Adequate. Kind of gross.
We were in the Bahamas with a kind of rich guy who was like had to like wear the douchebag jeans and like all the rich guy stuff.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't at
they had the 7 for all mankind on.
And we were sitting there, and he's like, see that guy? He's like, that guy is richer than all my friends put together. And he's like, that guy is down here looking to buy an island, and he is worth into the $80 million.
I have a story. The guy that owned my house.
And he just Guy Harvey shirt, regular like scruffy beard, looked like a regular Florida guy that and he was apparently stinking. I mean, 80 million rich.
The guy that owned my house was that. Remember, he was he owned a lot of land around here, and he was selling things here, and he made some investment. It was bad, but he still had a ton of money, and he just rented up the other 3 floors of the house and lived and cooked off a hot plate, and they said he was nuts.
Well,
but he was loaded.
That may be. There are some like mentally ill rich.
He was mentally ill rich.
And those are the saddest ones because they'll die.
Barely put pants on, cooking beans on a hot plate.
They have pee-pee jars everywhere. And then when they die...
I kept a few of his pee-pee jars.
They always give their vast amount of wealth to some
cats.
But also
Humane Society.
Family members that they didn't even hang out with or love was like, and they didn't even appreciate it. They got like
I give this
$5
to
million.
Jerry, the janitor at my church.
Or they'll donate it to some crazy charity and make their family mad. Someone left like $5 million to their dog in the news the other day.
I miss that.
That's the crazy rich guy.
You know what I miss? And this was like, maybe this never happened, and maybe this was just like an urban legend for the 80s and the 90s. But there was an urban legend that, and I feel like it was the plot line of a lot of Dan Aykroyd movies, where the crazy old man would leave money to the ungrateful, horrible family that he had, but through a series of madcap and zany tricks that were all in his mansion, and the one that got out got to keep the dough.
Yeah.
What happened to those? Those were let's do that with our fortune. Let's promise our families.
That's called the Willy Wonka.
Yeah, let's promise them a Wonka.
Yeah. I'd love to do that. I just don't have. They're like
it's too hard.
You get $8,500 if you go. There's like I'm not even
the crappiest Wonka.
It was like, do this color run at the end, like not worth it. I'm sorry.
Hey, do a color run. What do you get? You got a Ford Ranger.
After taxes, you get his old stinky truck. Still has payments on.
It's got a dent in the side.
Yeah. But I do like the you have to earn through a bunch of different like tests and riddles and going through the
that's
mansion.
A stereotype that's gone. Here's another one that's gone, and I know this because my mom just died. They do not pull you into a room and then wheel in that old VCR and TV combo that you remembered from high school, put a VCR tape in and press play, and then it's your mom pops up there and she's like, "Hello, Daniel. If you're watching this, I am no longer here.
Yeah.
Now I will read my last will." It doesn't work like that. It's all way more depressing and sad, and there's nothing fun about it.
You could do it like that.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, you could leave a video.
I'm doing this, dude. I'm doing this for Maisie.
You have to pay, you'd have to pay Mo. I'm sure
I'm
there's
gonna have
a
a top
fee.
hat. I'm gonna have 360 images doing, "Hello, Maisie. It is your dad." And I'm gonna sing a song, and I'll be like, "And if you're watching this, I am dead. I am dead. I put bullets in my head."
Oh my God, we gotta go.
I'm making it Wonka-ish. She'll love it.
There's a bubble coming out of your car.
Font, Macy, font.
Bye-bye.